It has begun. The real season in Texas high school football is upon us. District play. And tonight, two playoff hopefuls look to secure a crucial early season win as September winds to a close. Jesuit Dallas visits McKinney Boyd in District 9-6A clash on Thursday Night Lights, sponsored by Texas Health Resources. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to McKinney. Mike Leslie here with you as always, joined by Brad Ramsey this week. And Jesuit and McKinney Boyd, two teams in District 9-6A, Brad, that kind of need a win early on in this district schedule because it gets real tough going forward.
It's hard to believe or imagine a game this early in the season being this important. So McKinney Boyd won this game last year, 35-28, but they're coming off of 3 straight losses, and Jesuits won 2 in a row, and they're looking to get back to their old form.
District 9-6A, very, very difficult. Of course, the Allen Eagles, the team that is at the top of this district year after year, but Prosper's a very good team. Plano East is a very good team. It's going to be tough to make the playoffs in this district, and you're going to need a win in this game if you're going to be one of those 4 playoff teams, probably trying to grab that 4th spot, that 4th and final spot out of this district. Let's get you our players to watch for this evening. First for the visiting Jesuit Dallas Rangers, E.J. Smith, Brad, the son of the Cowboys Hall of Famer Emmitt Smith.
I'm looking forward to seeing number 22 run around on the field. Brings back some good memories, right? But, you know, I mentioned that Jesuit lost this game last year 35-28. All 28 of those points attributable to E.J. Smith last year. You can believe he's going to be a big part of the game tonight.
Meanwhile, for McKinney Boyd, Play Wyatt, the strong safety. This is a very good secondary in general for McKinney Boyd, but Play Wyatt, a 3-star kid on his way to Rice.
And they'll tell you their secondary is one of the strengths of their team, but the coach will also say they've got to be where we need safeties to be and not be too aggressive. We've got to keep an eye on that. It could be a difference tonight.
Yeah, tonight it's kind of a battle of strength on strength. The wide receiver position's real good for Jesuit, the secondary real good for McKinney Boyd, and we'll see which one of those two gets the better of the matchup tonight. All right, let's get you our starters for this evening's game. First, for the Jesuit Dallas offense, Rance Holman, the starting quarterback, his first year as the starter. He's got 4 wide receivers on the outside, of course, spotlighted by E.J. Smith, Jake Taylor, the back in the backfield with him. Defensively for Jesuit, 3-4 set, the middle linebackers, Jack Barton and Tommy Roy, certainly worth keeping an eye on. For McKinney Boyd on the offensive side, Carter Whitefield, the sophomore, the starter at quarterback. 4 wides for him as well. Alex Taylor, a Texas Wesleyan commit. Tyler Shaw, a kid that's getting looks from schools like Wyoming, Baylor, Oklahoma State, and Texas Tech. Defensively for Boyd, a 3-4 set for them as well. It's the secondary to watch, though, here. Certainly Play Wyatt, who we just talked about, but also Jake Fex. Their 2 safeties are outstanding. Our head coaches for this evening. For Jesuit, Brandon Hickman in his 9th year at Jesuit, 63-35 in those 9 years, and 7 times he's taken Jesuit to the playoffs. Meanwhile, Joe McBride on the opposite side, his first year at McKinney Boyd, but his 8th year overall, 59-25 in his career. Can McBride get his 2nd win in McKinney Boyd tonight, or will Jesuit jump out to a 2-0 start in district play? The opening kickoff next on the WFAA Digital Network. You guys hearing us? Homecoming at McKinney Boyd, and our captains this evening. First for the home standing Boyd Broncos, Cole Green, Jake Fax, and Angel Rodriguez. For Jesuit, Jalen Spicer, Rance Holman, Jack Barton, and Branson Hickman. Jesuit won the toss and deferred. Boyd will receive the opening kickoff. Jesuit will get the football to start the second half, which means we get to see a little bit of Carter Whitefield, the sophomore quarterback for McKinney, first tonight. And, of course, E.J. Smith is waiting in the wings as well.
And really looking forward to seeing number 22 tonight. As we talked about in the pregame, this is a big game for both of these teams to be so early in the season. Jesuit a chance to be 2-0 in the district to start the year. That would be quite the start and quite the turnaround from last year's down year for them.
Jesuit coming in off of back-to-back wins. They won over Plano West last week to start district play 1-0. McKinney Boyd coming off a loss last week, 21-14 against Plano East. Tonight trying to get their first win of district play on their home field. And the opening kickoff is a short one, fielded at the 27-yard line by McKinney Boyd, and fighting his way out to the 35 is McKinney Boyd's Jack Hagan, and that's where their offense will get started. 1st and 10 at their own 35. Brad, as we talked about off the top, certainly an important game for each of these two teams in the district standings, because it is a very difficult district as you get further into the schedule. Both of these teams have a game against Allen, have a game against Prosper waiting ahead of them, have games against, Jesuit still has to play Plano East. McKinney Boyd already has that out of the way, but there's tough teams in this district that they need to contend with.
Yeah, going to be interesting to see how they start.
First play is a handoff to Tyler Shaw, and Tyler Shaw out to midfield. Good hole out in a good hole to start the play, and a nice cut to the outside to pick up a first down on the first play from scrimmage for McKinney Boyd.
And Coach McBride for McKinney Boyd said he expected Jesuit to be very fundamentally sound tonight. Didn't see it there.
Once again, the handoff to Shaw up the middle. Pickup of about 3 on first down. Shaw on the season, 273 rushing yards and 4 touchdowns in their first 4 games of the year.
Averaging 4.2 yards a carry. So I'm not great at math, but by my math, I'd give it to him a lot. That's going to be a lot of first downs. I think we're going to see him get a lot of carries tonight.
A kid that was honorable mention all district a year ago, 727 rushing yards and 10 touchdowns last year. Also had a receiving score as well. Certainly a big piece of the offense for the Boyd Broncos. Whitefield in shotgun here on 2nd and 7, just across midfield on the opening drive of the game. We do appreciate you being with us here on the WFAA Digital Network. Mike Leslie and Brad Ramsey here with you. Boyd and Jesuit in Game 2 of their District 9-6A slate. As Whitefield continues to look to the near side, the offensive coordinator for Boyd is Daniel Foster. This is a team that's trying to be vertically explosive, but also wants to kind of maintain that balance. We've seen a lot of Tyler Shaw in the first couple plays of the game. Now to the air for the first time. Whitefield deep over the middle, complete, and he's got a lot of running room. Kareem Coleman to the outside, Coleman to the pylon. Touchdown, Boyd.
Just a simple crossing route, Mike, and they made it really easy on the sophomore. You know, Coach McBride told us when we talked to him before the game that he does not get happy feet. He stood in there, took his time, perfect strike over the middle.
Just 47 seconds into the football game, and McKinney Boyd is on the board. Kareem Coleman, who had first team all-district honors a year ago, starting things off rather well for the Broncos. Extra point is up and through off the foot of Austin Woodruff, and it's a 7-0 start for McKinney Boyd. Again, just 47, I guess now 48 seconds in. I think they may have accidentally run the clock on the extra point there for 1 tick. So with 11:12 on the clock here in the first quarter, it is 7-0 Boyd.
Mike, I think offensive coordinator Daniel Foster and his squad there kind of lulled the Jesuit defense to sleep just a little bit. You know, some simple run plays to get the game started, and it took 1 strike over the middle. 1 for 1 with a touchdown, not bad for the sophomore.
Yeah, that's a perfect passer rating. I think that'll qualify.
That's like Dak Prescott's opener.
He'd have to continue that for all 4 quarters to match what Dak did, but not a bad start for Carter Whitefield. Again, just a sophomore, 6 foot, 192, a kid that they think has potential as the years go on for him to get some significant offers and get a couple really good looks from colleges around the area and around the country. When you're already 6 foot as a sophomore, there's certainly potential for growth, and if he can get into that 6'3", 6'4" neighborhood, that's what schools are looking for.
Yeah, and Coach McBride thinks he's going to get some D1 looks as he gets older, bigger, taller.
So Boyd kicks it away already with a 7-0 lead, not even a minute into the football game. Short kick again here, and Jesuit fields it. Cooper Manning bringing it across the 30-yard line. And our first opportunity to see E.J. Smith and company. Rance Holman, the starting quarterback for Jesuit. A senior, started the final game of last year, but this is his first full year, of course, as a starter. Started last year against Plano East.
We're going to see him move E.J. Smith around a lot. They list him as a starting wide receiver, but what do you know? Looks like he's starting in the backfield.
Play action to him, and they swing it out on the right-hand side, and falling down as he made the catch was Jake Taylor. Taylor is their starting tailback. That's how they term this in the Jesuit offense. E.J. Smith, technically a wide receiver, but a kid that will certainly line up in the backfield. Rushed for over 1,200 yards as a sophomore and 26 touchdowns. His biggest statistical output so far in his career came in his first year on the varsity in 2017. 26 rushing touchdowns, 7 receiving scores, and here a nice cutback to get close to first down yardage. So he's certainly no stranger to carrying the football.
No stranger. Shows nice patience there.
Quickly back to the line comes Holman, and again it's going to be a handoff to E.J. Smith. Trying to get to the outside, can't do so, but he does have enough. I beg your pardon, they moved the sticks on the previous play, so that's a first down carry that gets him about 2.
4 seniors and a junior in their 5 skill positions, Mike, but it's really going to start with what's also a veteran offensive line for Jesuit. Do they give enough room to E.J. to hit the holes, and do they give Rance Holman enough time? He looked perfect in warm-ups.
Holman in shotgun once again. Again, play action. He's going to swing it out to E.J. Smith. Smith trying to line up, play Wyatt, and get past him, but can't. Wyatt with a solid tackle right in midfield. We've already got questions in the comments here on Facebook as to whether or not the elder number 22 is in the building tonight. We're told he's actually not here tonight. Maybe he's tuning in. Maybe he's enjoying the game just like all of y'all on Facebook Live or YouTube Live, also WFAA.com. This time Taylor takes the handoff, and he's hit immediately in the backfield. Coming off the edge, Matteo Bianchi with the tackle in the backfield, and that's going to set up 4th down for Jesuit.
Coming into this game, Jake Taylor was averaging 5.2 yards a carry, but the offensive line has to do a better job for him.
Holman keeps it on 4th and 1 and about a half a yard. Did he get it? Yes, he did. Just enough for the first down. The read option on 4th and about a yard and a half. And Rance Holman able to dive across the marker. Jesuit likes to play with pace, if you haven't noticed yet. They will be back to the line of scrimmage very quickly, and they run a system that is not easy to defend. That comes on the near side for Wyatt Garrett, number 85. 6'8". Good luck to any corner trying to defend 6'8", Brad. They've got Jalen Shaw and Caden Park are the 2 starting cornerbacks for Boyd. Shaw is 6 foot, Caden Park is 6'2". Those are big corners, but up against 6'8".
I felt really short standing next to Wyatt Garrett in warm-ups, I'll be honest.
2nd down and a long 5 here now for Holman out of shotgun. Looking deep over the middle, now steps up in the pocket, and he'll run close to a first down. Yes, he does have it across the 35. Down to the 33, and they move the sticks again.
Really smart play there. We heard head coach Joe McBride tell us that McKinney Boyd was going to play some zone pressure. Sometimes they'll bring 4 or 5 guys, but they kind of dropped back there, took advantage, or Rance Holman, I should say, took advantage of the opportunity. Really smart play. Tuck it and run.
So a fresh set of downs for Jesuit. They're already inside Boyd territory at the 33, knocking on the door of the red zone. Smith and Taylor flanking Holman, but he's going to roll right, throws it that way, complete that way, in the hands of Christian Olaco, picks up about half the yardage.
Really interesting game plan here from Jesuit. Just nice little short passes underneath. We know the strength of McKinney Boyd are those safeties, and maybe trying to lull them to sleep. We'll see if they take a shot here at the end zone.
It'll be 2nd and 5 now for Holman. Just a little over 4 minutes in here at McKinney ISD Stadium. It is homecoming tonight for the Boyd Broncos. Handoff goes to Taylor. He's able to dance his way for about 2. Looked like Holman was maybe a little bit indecisive as to whether or not he felt like the handoff was the right read there on the read option, but did ultimately stick it in the belly of Taylor, and he picks up 2, so 3rd and 3 now.
Had a lot of room to the right, but again, this is a big veteran offensive line for Jesuit, and I think part of the plan tonight is just to wear down the younger defense of McKinney Boyd.
3rd and 3 for Holman. Back to pass. Now he's going to step up and run for it again, and again he's got the first down and an awful lot more. Holman inside the 5. Out of bounds at the 2. He lost the football. He's lucky he didn't lose it into the end zone. But a pretty run from Rance Holman down inside the 5. And right back to the line of scrimmage they come, and he fumbled the football. And Boyd's on top of it. Breaking away is Javon Matthews. Foot race to the end zone. Can Jesuit track him down? Touchdown, McKinney Boyd. Javon Matthews with a 96-yard fumble recovery and return for a touchdown. And McKinney Boyd with a 13-0 lead just a little over 5 minutes in.
You know, Mike, this goes, I'm stating the obvious here, but I don't think McKinney Boyd could have asked for a better start. And I don't think Jesuit could be more disappointed in how it started.
Javon Matthews, Johnny on the spot. I mean, it was really a fumble that was created by some miscommunication. It appeared in the backfield between Rance Holman and the back. I believe it was Jake Taylor on the play. We'll see if we can catch a glimpse at the replay again. But clearly some miscommunication in the backfield. They put the ball on the deck. And Javon Matthews to the house. Apologies, we have a little technical difficulties here. Our main camera is out for the moment, but we can tell you that the extra point is up and through. And what a start for the Boyd Broncos. 14-0, just 5 minutes and 6 seconds into the football game. Javon Matthews with a 96-yard fumble recovery, return for a touchdown. I mean, if you're Boyd, you can't draw it up any better than they've started in this football game. And we were talking with their head coach, Joe McBride, before the game, and he's like, I hope we can stay with them. They're doing an awful lot more than staying with them right now.
A little more than staying with them, and exactly the opposite of what he expected from Jesuit. You know, he said to us, Mike, before the game, down on the field, we're hoping to hang with them, and he said, I really expect Jesuit to play sound, fundamental football. They execute really well. And I think if you're Jesuit, you just got to settle down. You know, you say, We have playmakers on offense. We score. We have a veteran defense. We can slow them down, but you got to take a deep breath and regroup.
14-0 the start for McKinney Boyd, an absolutely dazzling start for the Broncos. A touchdown drive that took only 48 seconds, ending in the touchdown connection from Whitefield to Coleman for the touchdown. And then as Jesuit had driven all the way down the field inside the 2-yard line, but a fumble by Rance Holman and Jake Taylor. And back in the other direction went Javon Matthews for the fumble recovery for a score. 14-0, just a little over 5 minutes in here. We apologize. We're still working on our main camera. We do have this wide angle for you, but obviously that's not the angle you'd prefer to be watching, but we can tell you at least what's going on with the action here as the kickoff return is brought back across the 25-yard line to the 30.
Mike, this is Jesuit's first visit to this $70 million stadium that was completed in August of 2018. They come back again later this year, November 1st, to play McKinney. But if this keeps up, they're going to be in a hurry to get out of here and not going to want to come back.
Yeah. Jesuit needs to find an answer here in the early going.
I do think you have to stick to your game plan. You know, you don't have to make up the bad start or a 14-point deficit in the first quarter. They just got to get back to basics, stick to their game plan, take a deep breath. It's all about fundamentals.
Holman, off play action, Emmitt Smith, deep ball downfield for Alaco. Nearly intercepted. That would have been a sensational play by Jake Fex. He went up looking for the one-handed grab and nearly pulled it off.
And that's sort of what I'm talking about, Mike. Into double coverage there, really dangerous, and a difficult game could become an impossible one very quickly if you try to get all 14 back in a hurry.
Looks like we're maybe getting closer to having our camera back up and running. We apologize. There we go. We got our main camera back up. We apologize for that, but back to a closer view of the action now for 2nd down and 10 for Rance Holman and company. They tried to go deep there to Christian Alaco over the middle, but Jake Fex nearly jumped up there and one-handed it. Alaco to be the intended target again here on 2nd and 10, and that's going to be very close to a first down. Beg your pardon, that's Jonathan Paredes over the middle. Nice play by Holman to find him over the middle despite the pressure.
And off balance. Tough throw, took a big hit.
William Chester Smith says in the comments on Facebook, where's our interview with Emmitt Smith? Believe me, we tried. He's unfortunately not in the building tonight, but if he was, we were certainly hoping to have him on. Here, the other running back for Jesuit, Jake Taylor, carrying for a first down and across midfield.
As a lifelong Cowboys fan, I would like to assure our audience we tried to get Emmitt Smith in the booth.
That would have added a little something extra to the night, wouldn't it? So, Emmitt, if you're out there watching somewhere, which, I mean, hey, you know, I'm sure he wants to tune in and see his son play. If you happen to be somewhere nearby, maybe coming back into town, come stop by the stadium. We'll have you in the booth in the fourth quarter. Passes incomplete, intended for Alaco on the far side, trying to set up a little bit of a tunnel screen there.
And I think, you know, as I mentioned earlier, Rance Holman looked absolutely perfect in warm-ups. Obviously, warm-ups a little different. No defense on the field, but he looked very comfortable, had a sharp warm-up. He's got to stay calm, stay settled.
2nd and 10 now for Holman. Got Taylor in the backfield with him once again. They swing it out on the near side for E.J. Smith. Smith's going to have to make a bunch of people miss, and he's not able to pick up more than, I think he may have lost a yard on the play. So it'll be 3rd down and 11 now. I think he was kind of the escape valve on that play. They were trying to set up something different, and it wasn't coming together for him, so they just swing it out to E.J., and unfortunately for Smith, nowhere to go. And it's going to be 3rd and long now. If you're just joining us, a very fast start for McKinney Boyd. A touchdown in the first 48 seconds of the football game. Whitefield to Coleman over the middle. Kareem Coleman took it up the left sideline and scored the first score of the game as Holman looks deep over the middle. Tipped and falls incomplete. Play wide with a good play on the football. Coming over the top of Jonathan Paredes there on 3rd and 11. So now Jesuit appears will have to punt.
Really close to picking that off, Mike. As you mentioned before the game, he's going to be a difference, and he's playing right on time so far. You know, Coach McBride mentioned that he was concerned about his safeties trying to be too aggressive. He timed that perfectly and almost had another turnover.
So Jesuit to punt it away. Parker Brown, their punter. He's a junior. He's also their place kicker and kickoff specialist as well. Jake Feck signals for a fair catch and makes it at the 11. So back out come the Boyd Broncos offense, and in possession of a 14-0 lead. This is not the start to this game that I think we expected, but on homecoming, Boyd is showing out quite well.
It'll be interesting to see if Jesuit brings some pressure on this drive. Coach Hickman told us this is the best linebacker tandem he's had in years, and he's had some good linebacker cores, some good teams over the years, and they're not gonna take it lightly that the young quarterback scored on them already. I have a feeling.
It'll be 1st and 10 for Whitefield and company from the 11-yard line. Tyler Shaw in the backfield with him, and he gets the handoff. This time nowhere to go. Maybe picks up about 2 out to the 13-yard line.
A gain of 2 yards on the carry by Tyler Shaw. Stop made by Tommy Roy and Ethan Lane. 2nd and 8, Broncos.
Shaw looked good on that opening drive from Boyd before they hooked up over the middle from Whitefield to Coleman. You imagine they'll go back to him quite a bit over the course of the evening. Now on 2nd down and 8. And he will see the football again. This time he's able to pick his way for a little bit more out to the 17-yard line. That'll set up 3rd and manageable, about 3rd and 4 here, Brad.
2 seniors and a junior on that defensive front for Jesuit, but right now they're getting pushed off the ball.
Yeah. Shaw hopping his way off the field here. You can see on the very bottom of your screen. Not putting any weight on that left foot. Jay Thompson is the backup running back.
He seems to be in a lot of pain, Mike. I know he's off camera at the moment, but a lot of pain, no weight on his left leg.
They actually bring Play Wyatt out to play running back here. He has seen time in the backfield before, certainly not a foreign concept for the starting safety, and he will get the handoff here on 3rd down and 4. Spins out of 1 tackle, but then swallowed up after a pickup of about 2, and that'll force 4th down and
2 yards on the carry by Clay Wyatt.
and a punt from the Boyd Broncos. But yeah, Tyler Shaw, he's certainly the bell cow running back for this Boyd Broncos offense. Jay Thompson is a young kid. He's effective and he's fast. Coach McBride said he's certainly a big part of their future, but a kid that is still learning as well. He may have to learn on the job tonight if Tyler Shaw can't make his way back out on the football field.
Connor Daly on to punt.
This is the case for most teams, Mike, but I think if Jesuit can get Boyd into 3rd and 4, 3rd and 5 or longer, they're going to feel really comfortable on defense tonight. You know, they've only given up 3 third down conversions coming into tonight's game on the season.
They don't give one up just a moment ago, and that forces the 4th down and the punt look anyway from Boyd, but now a timeout called by the Broncos. 2:52 to play here, first quarter. 14-0 our score in favor of Boyd. If you're late in joining us, Carter Whitefield over the middle to Kareem Coleman for a touchdown pass. Just 48 seconds into the football game, a 48-yard touchdown pass. Jesuit drove all the way down the field, but Brad right inside the 2-yard line gave the football away. A fumble by the quarterback, Rance Holman, trying to make a handoff in the backfield. And back the other way went Javon Matthews. 96 yards for the touchdown. And that leads to our 14-0 score. Still very early on, though. Still plenty of time for both of these teams to do something with this football game.
I think the Jesuit defense settled in a little bit there, and if I'm Jesuit, I'm telling my players and I'm telling myself as a coach, or myself, that we're really one play away from this game being 7-7.
Yes.
You know, this game has not been a 14-point difference on the field. It was one really big mistake.
So back out to punt comes Boyd. Connor Daly, the punter. Short kick lands just across midfield. Jesuit will stay away from it. It rolls dead at the 34, and that's where we'll see Rance Holman and company once again. Again, trailing 14-0 here in the early going, but they have moved the football well, certainly on their first drive, and did pick up some yardage in their second drive as well, but they weren't able to finish either drive. And as a result, in this 14-0 hole late in the first quarter.
They've got to get E.J. Smith more involved. You know, I would look for some misdirection, try to get him open downfield. Right, you know, so far a couple of handoffs and some short underneath passes to him.
He gets the handoff once again, but again nowhere to go. Matthews there to make the play in the backfield and a loss of a yard.
A little surprised, Mike, that McKinney Boyd seems to be winning this game in the trenches so far, or at least they have an advantage in the trenches. Not saying that's where the difference is in the score, but this is an offensive line with 4 seniors, anchored by Branson Hickman, the coach's son, and they're going to have to make some room and buy some time.
Giving Rance Holman plenty of time here. He steps up in the pocket, looks deep downfield for Wyatt Garrett into double coverage, and it's incomplete.
And really close to being over the line of scrimmage there on that throw, Mike.
Take a look here at the replay, see if he did step. Woo! He may have. No flag was thrown on the play, so 3rd and 11. He was very, very close and may have stepped beyond that line of scrimmage as he released the football.
Yeah, in fairness, our angle's a little bit off center, so the ref was right there on it, and we'll trust he made the right call.
So 3rd and 11 now. Holman with 5 wide receivers. Little tunnel screen to the right-hand side for Alako. He's got a little bit of running room close to the first down. It'll depend on the spot here. He's very close. They're marking him right at that 45-yard line. And they will say, yes, indeed, a first down on 3rd and 11.
Gutsy call. That's trusting your offense right there.
Yeah. Alako made a couple of nice moves, found a crease, and just enough to move the sticks and keep Jesuit in possession. They need a drive here, one, because they need points, but also, frankly, to allow their defense to catch their breath. Their defense has spent a lot of this first quarter on the football field. First down carry up the middle for Jake Taylor, gets across midfield. Taylor's a kid who really has stepped up for this Jesuit team. Certainly the first 2 weeks of the season, E.J. Smith was out with a high ankle sprain, missed each of the first 2 games of the season, and really the 2 toughest games they've had so far this year against Arlington and against DeSoto, 2 of the best 6A teams in the entire state. Smith was out with that high ankle sprain, and Jake Taylor did a lot of the damage on the offensive side of the ball. Here, once again, he gets it on the swing pass to the right-hand side, close to the first down.
Coach McBride talked about wanting his safeties not to be too aggressive. Right now, the corner's giving the Jesuit wideouts a lot of room as well. And I think they'll take those 5- and 6-yard dump downs all day long.
It'll be 3rd down and a short 2 here. They've got to get right to the 45-yard line in Boyd territory to pick up the first down. Holman to the near side for Garrett. Tries to turn upfield, met right at the sticks, but he will have the first down based on the spot from the far side. First down, Jesuit. And quickly back to the line comes Holman. Handoff to E.J. Smith, and he's able to fall forward for about 2.
Good work there by E.J. Smith. He didn't have a lot of a hole, but he found it and picked up probably more than the offensive line gave him room for there.
2nd and 7 now. I guess they'll say 2nd and 8, maybe a short 8. Holman has all day, now flushed, and now taken down in the pocket. A coverage shack through and through. And it'll be 3rd and long now for Jesuit.
Really came close to losing the football there, Mike, and you got to probably just get rid of that one a little earlier.
Coming through for the sack is Isaac Priest for Boyd, and that's going to set up 3rd down and 10. And that is how the first quarter will come to a close. 14-0 through one frame. It has been all McKinney Boyd on the scoreboard. Maybe a little bit more balanced in terms of what we've actually seen on the field, Brad, but certainly McKinney Boyd has made the big plays thus far. The touchdown pass to Coleman over the middle, and the big fumble recovery return for a touchdown by Javon Matthews. And that's our football game so far.
Yeah, really, a lot of back and forth. Not a lot of mistakes on offense by either team, but the one big mistake by Jesuit making the difference.
Once again, they're going to have 3rd down and long. They converted one a few moments ago, also converted a 3rd and short on this drive. But this time they're going to be facing 3rd and an even 10. Been a little bit slow going so far for this Jesuit offense. Rance Holman already has thrown 13 passes in the first quarter, completed 9 of them. 45 yards through the air. He's also been their most effective runner of the football so far. 4 carries for 35 yards. Of course, he had the 24-yarder down this near left sideline that got them inside the 2-yard line right prior to the fumble. Jake Taylor, 4 carries for 19 yards. E.J. Smith, 5 carries for 13 yards here in the early going. Now 3rd and 10 for Holman as we start the second quarter. Peels back to the near side, complete in the hands and getting to the outside, but short of the first down. That's Cole Green with the reception. Well short of the first down marker, but perhaps in 4-down territory here at the 42. They may consider going for it.
And nice job by the Boyd secondary. They just didn't let themselves get blocked downfield, and that was the difference in that play. Same play they ran on 3rd down last time around, just didn't work this time.
Well, that sets up 4th down and 7, and they will indeed keep Holman on the field. 3 wide receivers to the near side. E.J. Smith in the middle, and they're going to quick kick it. Holman sends it down the right sideline. Can they get down there and... Very nice play. Maybe, did he stay out of the end zone, though?
I think he did, Mike.
I think he did. What a play. I think that was Christian Olaco diving in, keeping the ball out of the end zone, and a very nice special teams play from the Jesuit Rangers as they down it inside the 5-yard line at about the 3.
And Mike, I think they're giving him credit. I have to admit, I'm not sure I know the high school rule here, but it looks like they have the ball placed inside the 1. Are they going to give it to him where he touched the ball?
It appears that that's what they're doing, yes. I would have thought that it would have been at the 3-yard line, but certainly appears that they're spotting that ball at the 1. So this is going to be Carter Whitefield, sophomore quarterback, standing with his heels on his own end zone. As a matter of fact, in shotgun, so halfway through his own end zone. And some miscommunication in the backfield. He barely got out of the end zone. He does get out, but only just barely. Some miscommunication between Whitefield and Play Wyatt, who's in there once again at the tailback position. They went opposite directions, and that was nearly disaster for McKinney Boyd.
And that could just be a matter of Wyatt not having the reps back there, Mike. And it shows you, Coach McBride has told us over and over, his team is young, they're thin, and just not a lot of options.
Jake Fex now back there at running back. Fex, the other starting safety. Again, Tyler Shaw went down with an injury in the early going here, and we have not seen him since he hobbled his way off. They pass it out on the right-hand side. That was indeed a forward pass, only just barely, and it's incomplete.
Mike, Jake Fex plays both sides of the ball for Boyd, but he's also an explosive wide receiver. He had 3 catches for 130 yards last week. But having him in the backfield obviously takes that threat away. So that's a weapon kind of out of the repertoire for Boyd, most likely the rest of the night.
I have not caught a peek at Tyler Shaw since he went off the field. He may be back in the locker room at this point, but he was definitely putting no weight at all on his left foot. So now 3rd down and 9 from their own end zone. Pressure behind them, ball batted up in the air, and it will fall harmlessly incomplete. Hit hard was Carter Whitefield in the end zone, coming hard off the edge, and catching his arm as he released was Jalen Spicer, one of the captains for this Jesuit football team. And that's going to set up 4th down, an obvious punt situation for Boyd, but not with your requisite 15 yards behind the line of scrimmage for your punter to have space, so it will not surprise me at all if Jesuit comes after this.
And how big now is downing the ball inside the 1-yard line?
Yeah. A tremendous special teams play. Christian Alaco diving to keep the ball out of the end zone. And now that sets up a very tenuous situation for Boyd. Jesuit does not come after it, though. They're going to set up for the punt return, and it's going to be Alaco from the 46. Already on Boyd's side of the field, and he's got the corner. Alaco with a lot of room across the 30, across the 25. Dances inside the 15. He's still going. And finally, bottled up at the 12-yard line. A sensational return from Christian Alaco, 34 yards down to the 12. And Jesuit is in business now. As
good of a return as that is, Mike, watch this. This is 1 block away from being right here a touchdown. Missed that block, but still a great return.
All the way down to the 12-yard line, and that is where Rance Holman and company are going to take over here in prime position to cut this lead in half.
If they take advantage of the corners of the end zone and the height advantage they have out on the perimeter. Tried to.
Whistles before the snap. They were going to E.J. Smith there in the corner of the end zone. A false start against Jesuit will set up 1st and 15 now. So an opportunity here for Jesuit to claw their way back into the football game. It's been a somewhat mistake-prone early going for Jesuit, but the sensational special teams play by Alaco setting up a good defensive stand and now outstanding field position. But now 1st and 15 after the penalty. The handoff goes up the middle in the hands of Kyle Heckel. He gets almost back to the original line of scrimmage. Heckel on the year, 40 rushing yards as they go to E.J. Smith once again, and incomplete. So now 3rd down and 11 forthcoming. Holman tried to hit E.J. Smith, but he was double covered there in the left corner of the end zone. You've got a lot of size, of course, in Wyatt Garrett. 6'8". You'd think in the end zone that's a pretty big target for Rance Holman, but obviously some talent on the near side as well. 3 wide receivers and now motion into 4 wide receivers to the right side of the formation, but nowhere for him to go. Too much pressure in the backfield. Coming through to make the sack is Dominique Stevenson, and it's 4th down and 16 now for Jesuit. Jesuit has two kickers, Parker Brown and Mitchell Campbell. Campbell will kick the longer field goals. This one's going to be about 35, maybe 36 yards. It appears that is Campbell making his way out. It will be Mitchell Campbell to attempt a 35-yard field goal from just inside the left hash. Out of the hold of Connor Naughton, the kick is up and through. So Jesuit at least gets 3 points out of the turnover, or out of the special teams play, rather, and the good defensive stand. And it's 14-3, a little over 3 minutes into the second quarter.
And Mike, that kick would have been good from 50.
He's got a leg on him. He's hit a 49-yarder this year, also hit a 43-yarder. Both of those kicks in the same game against DeSoto earlier this season. So they've definitely got a weapon in the foot of Mitchell Campbell that they can deploy whenever the opportunity presents itself, and they get 3 points on the board there as a result. Not the way they wanted that drive to end, though, I'm sure. I mean, they went nothing but backward on that drive between the penalty and some miscommunication on a couple of their attempts into the end zone and the sack on third down. And it leads to the long field goal. And it's 14-3.
Jesuit defense has to continue to be aggressive here. You know, they gave the offense a gift there and weren't able to capitalize. I think this drive is going to be really important. Going to have a lot to say in what happens with the game.
So it'll be Parker Brown to kick the football away. And yeah, Jesuit needs to stop here. They need to get a little bit of momentum back in this football game as the fair catch is signaled for, and that'll bring the football out to the 25-yard line as Cole Green signals for the fair catch. This is certainly an issue where, for Jesuit, that should have been a big momentum swing. The very nice special teams play. The defense made a great stand deep in their own, in Boyd territory. And then you start the drive at the 12-yard line. And they almost every single play went. They did have the one run in the hands of Kyle Heckel that picked up a couple of yards. Everything else was either negative yardage or a penalty. And they're forced to kick the field goal. That's going to stick in the craw of head coach Brandon Hickman, I'm sure.
Yeah, they've been inside the 15-yard line twice now. 3 points to show for it. And a lot of playmakers on that offense. So sure they're disappointed, but still early.
Yet another penalty to start a drive. This is going to knock Boyd back into a 1st and 15 situation. So starting from their own 14-yard line now. Whitefield with two backs flanking him, and the handoff goes to Fex, and he's got an awful lot of running room across to the 25-yard line, Jake Fex.
11 yards on the play, shot made by.
Fex is their starting safety alongside Clay Wyatt. We've seen both of them come out on the football field and play running back in the absence of Tyler Shaw, and that was certainly the best play we've seen from either of these two backup running backs. Now they've got Fex and Cole Green in the backfield with Carter Whitefield. Jesuit showing pressure. Play action over the middle and incomplete right through the hands of Alex Taylor. Would have been a first down, instead 3rd and 4 forthcoming.
Perfect route, perfect pass, maybe just a hair high, but should have been caught.
Yeah, that's one Alex Taylor would certainly want back. Texas Wesleyan commit Taylor is. 3rd down and 4. Whitefield looking to the near side, getting the signal from Daniel Foster, the offensive coordinator. Jesuit again showing pressure. Handoff goes to Play Wyatt. Can he get enough for the first down? It looks like Jesuit has held him up shortly, just barely. I don't know, it's going to depend on the spot. It was very close. He got a final surge there at the end of the play that might have been enough for a first down. But he's just barely short, and it's going to be 4th and less than a yard.
They're going to go for it, Mike.
They are indeed. Deep in their own territory. Inside their own 30. Whitefield again looking to the sideline for guidance. He's got two backs in the backfield with him. again to the sideline.
Just trying to draw them off, Mike. I think they're waiting now. Yep.
And they will call timeout. Couldn't quite make Jesuit jump off sides, and now they'll punt the football away. Would have been a gutsy call to try and go for it that deep in your own territory. So now you can imagine you'll see Connor Daly make his way out and punt the football away. So Jesuit gets the defensive stand that they needed, but their offense needs to get something rolling here.
You know, 7 of those points on the board for Boyd obviously had nothing to do with the Jesuit defense. So I think we're seeing what we expected in terms of aggressiveness and veteran play from the defensive side of the ball for Jesuit. And you know, so far McKinney Boyd has been the team that hasn't made the mistakes. Yeah, they've struggled on offense a little bit these last couple of drives, but they've played sound fundamental football. They're taking what they get.
Mike Leslie and Brad Ramsey here with you in the booth at McKinney ISD Stadium. 14-3 our score through about a quarter and a half. If you're watching on the Facebook feed, on the WFAA Facebook Live feed, please click the share button. Let folks in the Jesuit and Boyd communities know that they too can hop on and watch the broadcast along with you guys. Same goes if you're watching on YouTube Live or WFAA.com, and they are back out here with the offense once again. Whitefield in shotgun. We saw Jesuit pull a quick kick a few minutes ago. We'll see if perhaps Boyd does something similar. Whitefield back into shotgun, 4th and less than a yard, and they are going to go for it. Handoff up the middle. Does he have enough? Jesuit thinks he's short.
It's going to be close, Mike.
It's going to be very close. Jake Fex up the middle, and I don't think he got it.
The Jesuit coaches seem to think the defense can come off the field, but
still no official signal yet, but it certainly looks like he's short. It looks like they're going to bring the chains over and measure to be sure, but it looked like they needed to get to the 29-yard line in order to pick up a first down. You can see it right there. Great camera work by our crew. You can see where the first down marker is, and as compared to where the football is, I got to think he's about a foot short.
And I really thought he was going to get it, Mike. He was running downhill. He had a head of steam when he hit the line of scrimmage, and Jesuit just had a few players collapse on the ball. Key moment here.
Jesuit football inside the 30.
And depending on what happens here on this drive, we're going to look back on that call, I think, at the end of the game. You know, we said that was going to be a pivotal drive for the Jesuit defense, and it turns out a risky call from McKinney Boyd could be a big momentum turner in the game. But we've yet to see the Jesuit offense capitalize on these opportunities.
This time they're inside the 30-yard line already. On the first play, they hand it off to Jake Taylor, and he surges up the middle, picks up about 8 on the first play of the drive. This is where Jesuit needs to put the football in the end zone. Their defense and their special teams have made a lot of plays for him in the early goings of this football game. The offense hasn't quite been up to snuff. This is their opportunity to take part as the run in the hands of Holman gets close to the first down, but it looks like he'll still be a hair shy. 3rd and short forthcoming. Quickly back to the line of scrimmage comes Holman. He's going to throw for it. Far side, E.J. Smith, first down and out of bounds at the 12.
Corner's still given a lot of room on the edge, Mike, but I think they're also afraid of Jesuit's big playability downfield, even though they haven't had a chance to show it or prove it yet tonight.
1st and 10 from the 12. The handoff goes to Kyle Heckel. Heckel, flag flies, but Heckel, is he into the end zone? Very close. It's going to be just short. The flag was thrown at the feet of one of the Jesuit wide receivers, so I imagine this is coming back for a hold.
Unbelievable stop.
Jonathan Paredes, sure enough, number 4. Jonathan Paredes, the senior wide receiver for Jesuit, caught for holding there inside the 5-yard line, so that'll bring all of that back.
Caden Park turned himself into a brick wall. He had no momentum, and somehow, obviously a moot point because of the holding call, but
Still an impressive play, though.
That was incredible.
That's a sophomore, too. A 6'2", 172-pound sophomore making that play. So first down again. They swing it out on the left-hand side. It's Heckel again. Heckel trying to dance his way through 2 defenders and slung down at the 8-yard line, but he picks up a good chunk of the yardage they lost on that penalty. Bring up second down and about 6, we'll say. Past the midway point of the second quarter here on Thursday Night Lights. Mike Leslie and Brad Ramsey here with you. Again, please click the share button on Facebook and let your friends and family know around the Jesuit community, the McKinney community, heck, around the country. Let them know that they can tune in and catch the game. We always end up with people that are watching from California and Ohio and New York and Florida and family members from all over the country. So
my mom in Bassett, Virginia.
Perfect. Holman's going to keep this one. Got some running room up the middle, close to the end zone. It'll be first and goal inside the 1. Holman not quite able to get across the goal line, but dives inside the 1-yard line. Got hammered right at the goal line by Play Wyatt and paid for it. But now first and goal inside the 1, and movement as they tried to hustle back to the line of scrimmage, and that's going to set up first and goal from the 6.
A couple of people moved there, Mike. A lot of confusion. Luckily for Jesuit, you can only get 1 false start penalty per play.
Jeff Wasserman, our referee this evening and crew chief, signaled second down momentarily but did correct himself. It will remain first down. First and goal from the 6 now. Play action, E.J. Smith. They swing it out on the right-hand side trying to find Jake Taylor, and he got hammered.
I thought the hit was just a tick of a second too early there.
Yeah,
it
definitely was. That's a good spot by you. Jake Feck's coming through a little early on Jake Taylor. No flag flies, but should have been one.
Bang, bang play. I get it. Benefit of replay up here in the booth, but definitely,
no doubt.
Definitely a little early there. Jesuit making a lot of mistakes and just can't catch a break.
Second down and goal now for Holman. Some confusion in the backfield, and Jake Taylor's got nowhere to go. Javon Matthews in the backfield in a heartbeat and swallows up Taylor for a loss, and it's going to be third and goal from outside the 10.
Coach Hickman told us this team's a lot faster than last year's team, but hard to play fast when you're making mistakes. You slow yourself down.
So third and goal now from just outside that 10-yard line. Again, Jesuit putting themselves in a great position and then going backward. Holman on the QB draw, up the middle, searching for the end zone, but he's going to come up short. It'll be fourth and goal from about the 2.5.
Really interesting to see what they do here, Mike. I have a feeling they're going to go for it. They're short on points.
Not even a hint of movement from the sideline until right now. Just as I say that, out comes the field goal unit, it appears.
And I think I just lost my Tony Romo audition.
It's Parker Brown, the short field goal kicker, also their kickoff specialist and punter. He'll come out for what will be a 19-yard field goal. And it's up and through.
Good push there from McKinney Boyd. I tell you, Mike, it's homecoming here tonight, and they clearly want it. They are playing hard. They're playing aggressive, and really, I think understandably, they're playing with nothing to lose. They come in on a 3-game losing streak. They're 0-1 in district play, and I think like Coach told us before the game, he said he was going to say to his kids, we're going to have to play hard if we hang with them. And you made this point earlier, but they're doing much better than hanging with them.
Yeah. The red zone has not been a friend to Jesuit tonight. 3 times now they've been down inside the red zone. Once they came up with no points, the fumble that led to the fumble recovery return for a touchdown by Javon Matthews, and then 2 field goals to follow that up. Just not the efficiency that you're looking for in the most precious quadrant of the field. The 14-6 our score as a result.
Obviously, they got cut short the time they were down in the red zone and fumbled the ball in the first quarter, Mike, but I'm a little bit surprised they haven't tried to go to one of their big receivers in the end zone when they get down in the red zone.
Kickoff fielded at the 18 by Fex. Beg your pardon, by Cole Green, and he's out to the 26, maybe 27-yard line is where they'll get things started for McKinney Boyd. Boyd on the night, if these stats are correct, is 0 for 3 on third down, 0 for 1 on fourth down, and yet they lead 14-6.
And that means Jesuit has still only allowed 3 third down conversions in 2019.
That's incredible. 1st and 10 here for Whitefield. He's got Green and Fex in the backfield with him. Alex Taylor and Jack Hagan to the near side. And the handoff goes to Fex. Not a lot of running room. Picks up about 4, it appears.
And 4 yards on the carry by JFX. Robert Fitzgerald and Tommy Roy on the stop. 7 man.
Whitefield looking at the sideline for signals. Now back in shotgun for 2nd and 6. Under 2.5 to play, second quarter. You got to imagine if you're Boyd, you'd be just fine if Jesuit doesn't see the football again in the first half. Jesuit will receive the opening kickoff in the second half. This time they go on the right-hand side in the hands of Jack Hagan, diving his way out of bounds. Looks to be a little bit shy of a first down.
Another third down. Jesuit still has all 3 of their first half timeouts left, and it may have used one there, but obviously the clock stops with him going out of bounds.
3rd down and 3 now for Whitefield. Still without a third down conversion tonight. We'll see if that changes here. Whitefield changing the play, barking out signals to the offensive line, and now back into shotgun. 5 seconds on the play clock. Gets the snap off in the backfield. Wyatt hit, swallowed up, spun out of it for a moment, but he's going to be taken down for no gain. And it'll be 4th and 3, and again, Jesuit's defense stands tall on 3rd and short.
Great pressure, great push up front, probably the best we've seen all night from the Jesuit Rangers.
Tommy Roy finished him off, and that will lead to a Jesuit timeout with 2:03 to play here in the second quarter, and an opportunity for the Rangers to get the football back. This has not been a first half that Jesuit would have drawn up by any means, but they find themselves in an advantageous situation here, about to get the football back most likely, with still a timeout, I beg your pardon, 2 timeouts left here in the half. 2:03 on the clock, plenty of time to go down the football field, and they will get the opening kickoff of the second half. So an opportunity for Jesuit to perhaps turn the tide a little bit here if they can execute over the course of the end of the second quarter and early on in the third quarter.
I really think what's going to be interesting to watch for the rest of the game, Mike, is this veteran offensive line for Jesuit against the younger defensive line for McKinney Boyd. Are they able to wear them down? So far, McKinney Boyd's defensive line has held their own. They've gotten some pressure. I think McKinney Boyd is mixing up what they bring, keeping Jesuit on their toes. But that senior captain for Jesuit, Branson Hickman, the SMU verbal commit, big-time player, big-time leader.
So it's Connor Daly on to punt now on 4th and 2. Sends a beautiful punt into the McKinney sky. Fielded inside his own 15. Christian Alaco nowhere to go. Taken down at the 13. And if Jesuit is going to create anything here in the late goings of the second quarter, they're going to have to go 87 yards to do so.
And that kid has a boot, doesn't he, Mike?
He really does. That's a sensational punt.
I kind of sidetracked our pregame conversation with Coach McBride, but I couldn't help but ask what he thought of his punter, because he was just doing that over and over in warm-ups. Just a really pretty ball flight, and you can see what a weapon he can be right there with that kick.
Especially in this situation, a perfect time for him to break out a very, very nice punt and pin Jesuit deep in their own territory. Now they've got to go from their own 13-yard line. Holman, far side, complete to Wyatt. Beg your pardon, Wyatt Garrett. Picks up about 4 on the play.
Gain of 4 yards on the completion from Rance Holman to Wyatt.
If you're in the Facebook comments, please let us know where you're watching from, who you're tuning in to see. You've got a nephew or a cousin or a son or grandson, whatever the case may be, as it's complete over the middle in the hands of Paredes. Dances up the sideline, and a flag flies in late. Did he get hit late out of bounds here?
I think he did, Mike, and just a really costly mistake for McKinney Boyd when they had a chance to stop him here.
That's Brock Archie coming across and laying the hit on him after he had stepped out of bounds. And that's going to give a free 15 yards to Jesuit, and just like that, they're out to the 36. 1:23 to play here, second quarter. They still have their 2 timeouts. And the clock will wind on the snap. Holman looking deep over the middle, now checks it down in the hands of Taylor. Out to the 40.
So far, the safeties, the secondary for McKinney Boyd doing exactly what Coach McBride hoped for, keeping everything in front of them.
Holman, lots of time, now getting pressured from behind, and he's taken down in the backfield. Terrence Broadway chasing him down from behind. Matteo Bianchi in on the play as well. And now Jesuit burns a timeout. 3rd down and 8 forthcoming. Ethan Weslowski in on the play as well, the sophomore backup linebacker. Sophomore, 6'1", 192. I can tell you with a good deal of confidence, Brad, I was not 6'1", 192 as a high school sophomore.
Well, I'd like to be 6'1", 192 now, but that the measurements would be going in a different direction.
3rd down and 8 coming up for Jesuit out of the timeout. 53.9 the time showing on the clock here at McKinney ISD Stadium. If you're a big fan of the bands, you'll want to stick around at halftime. We will bring you both halftime shows from both the Jesuit Band as well as the McKinney Boyd Band. And it is homecoming this evening at McKinney Boyd, so some homecoming festivities coming your way as well. But first, we've got 54 seconds left to play. Holman in shotgun, 3rd down and 8. He's got 4 wide receivers. He's going to hand it off up the middle, though, for Taylor. And the draw up the middle does not fool this McKinney Boyd defense. So now 4th down and about 5, and Jesuit's going to run right back to the line of scrimmage. 40 seconds and moving. And now maybe perhaps considering this decision. Ball's at their own 41. There's a 6-second differential between play clock and game clock, and it appears that Jesuit has thought better of going for it here on 4th down. Looks like they'll just call timeout as the play clock expires here and perhaps punt the football away, or perhaps just throw up a prayer on a Hail Mary as time expires. But with 6 and 4/10 seconds to play in the first half, they call timeout. After we saw a game between these two teams a year ago that was 28-14 at halftime and a 35-28 final score, I frankly expected a little more offense than what we've seen so far tonight. Only 1 offensive touchdown, the 2 field goals from Jesuit, and then the fumble recovery return for a touchdown by Javon Matthews. That's our scoring so far this evening to lead to a 14-6 score in favor of Boyd just before halftime.
And Mike, your 2 players to watch. Play wide in the secondary for McKinney Boyd. He's been a big factor tonight. On the Jesuit side of the ball, E.J. Smith has not been as much of a factor. They've got to find a way to get him involved and get him downfield with the ball, because right now he's not getting the room he needs up the middle.
So 4th down and 5. Holman back in there at quarterback, but it appears it's going to be another quick kick, and indeed it is.
Oh, he touched the ball.
He did, but Play Wyatt able to scoop it up. Jake Fex, now he's going to try and scoop it back to Fex. I guess Boyd's going to try and make something out of this, and maybe they can. Look at Jake Fex come to the near sideline. He's got 1 man to beat. He won't beat that 1 man, though, and Jesuit with a
Woo. With a sigh of relief, coming through to make the tackle was Jake Taylor. He was the last man that Fex needed to beat. Look at this again, Wyatt.
And I think this is a Ford. I think that's a Ford.
I think you're right.
There, Mike.
There was no flag drop though, and that, I mean, there's no replay at the, in a regular season high school football game.
But I could have missed it, but it looked to me like the back judge had kind of outrun the play and really didn't have a good vantage point on whether it had been a Ford pass or not.
That was almost a ridiculous way to end the first half, but
just when
it
we
all
thought
goes
we'd seen
for
it all.
naught. I know, right? 14-6 though our score through one half of play. McKinney Boyd with the lead so far. Your impressions, Brad, of what we've seen through 24 minutes worth of play?
Well, the difference, stating the obvious here maybe, but the difference is the big play off of the turnover. 95, 96-yard return, I think, off of the fumble. That's the difference in the game. Nobody's being too aggressive on offense. Defense is not giving up a lot, and I think we're in for a good second half.
Trying to get a look at exactly how far the touchdown return by Javon Matthews was. I'm not finding it here in the stats at the moment. We'll try and get you that after the halftime show, because we want to give you a little bit of an opportunity to experience and enjoy the Jesuit band first, and then McKinney Boyd's band will come out and perform as well here at homecoming at McKinney ISD Stadium for the Boyd Broncos. Enjoy halftime, and we'll see you guys in just a little bit.
For your halftime entertainment, please welcome the Jesuit Wrestling Ranger Band and the Rangerette Drill Team. Now entering the field are the Rangerettes. The Rangerettes will be performing to Oh Perfect. Rangerette officers, artillery lieutenants, Sienna Cantrell, Nora Perry, Elle Marks, and Olivia Pouliot. Senior Lieutenant, Anna Bookout. The First Lieutenant is Zoe Garcia, and our Captain is Taylor Louvier. Rangerettes of the Week are Michelle Lantoon and Savannah Ramirez. The Rangerette mascot is Rena Cantrell. And now, Poker Face. now taking the field is the Jesuit Ranger Band. Leading the band onto the field are drum majors Dan O'Brien and Ricardo Ponte. Tonight the band presents the show Legends of Song, the music of Billy Joel and Sir Elton John, with music selections to include Piano Man, Saturday Night's All Right, and more. And now, Legends of Song. Mara Miramontes, and Haley Neha Camp. Drumline Captain Gabe DeCanto. Drumline Lieutenant Bailey Utic. Platoon Lieutenants Edie Boyer, Liam Leahy, Landon Razor, J.J. Taz, Trevor McGregor, Sean Myrick, and John Sample. Thank you for watching, and go Rangers! Please welcome your nominees for the 2019 Homecoming King and Queen from McKinney Boyd High School. Carson Black, escorted by Marianne Black. Kate Altheiser, accompanied by Jeff Altheiser. Carson Bowen, escorted by Lori Bowen. Kimberly Armstrong, accompanied by Brent Armstrong. Tyler Glass, escorted by Stacy Glass. Maya Simpson, accompanied by Kirk Simpson. Carl Brewer, escorted by Sherry Brewer. Holly Kyle, accompanied by Mary Kyle. Ryan Jorgensen, escorted by Paula Jorgensen. Madden Herring, accompanied by Roman Herring. Congratulations to all the nominees for Homecoming King and Queen for 2019. Ladies and gentlemen, your McKinney Boyd Homecoming King is Bo Brewer. And your homecoming queen, Kate Altheiser. Congratulations to all the members of the homecoming court. Thank you for being part of the Bronco Homecoming 2019. Ladies and gentlemen, it is with great pleasure we welcome to the field the three-time national grand champion, McKinney Boyd High School. Providing order for that on the field from left to right by Junior Lieutenant Warren Ramsey, Junior Lieutenant Callie Rose Boyd, Sophomore Lieutenant Ashley Turner, First Lieutenant Kathleen Shearer, Senior Lieutenant Elizabeth Kennedy, Senior Lieutenant Brooke Larson, and in the center, on the 50-yard line, Captain Ray Cook. Commodore line officers are Diana Dixie, Morgan Green, Piper Long, Maddie Phillips, and Kevin Stroud. Commodore social officers are Jordan Rell, Maya Simpson, and Courtney Strauss. Celebrating the spirit of football season and highlighting the tradition of Texas drill teams on the gridiron, continues your halftime entertainment with a performance by your McKinney Boyd High School Bronco Marching Band. The band is under the direction of Travis Treadwell, Vanessa Santa Maria, Benjamin Cook, Scott Gustafson, and Alex Fernandez. Drum majors the Bronco Band are Kimberly Armstrong, Tanner Christian, Colin Kao, and Joseph Eva. Tonight, the band will perform their UIL show entitled A Splash of Genius. Outstanding section of the week is the trumpets. Outstanding marcher of the week is Samuel Flores. The outstanding freshman marcher of the week is Matt Gonzalez. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the sound of Bronco Pride, your McKinney Boyd High School Bronco Band.
The McKinney Boyd High School band making their way off the field after their performance on homecoming here at McKinney ISD Stadium. We saw the Jesuit Dallas band as well in the first half of halftime, but now just about a minute to go until we get the second half of football underway. It's 14-6 as we stand right now in favor of the Boyd Broncos. And Brad, you and I were just looking through the stats a moment ago. It has been a game that has been, frankly, all Jesuit in a lot of ways statistically, except for finishing drives and except for the one big mistake, the fumble that led to a touchdown. But Jesuit's got the better of a lot of the stats, just not on the scoreboard where it matters most.
Huge advantage in time of possession, Mike. More than double. Jesuit had the ball for 16 minutes and 36 seconds in the first half. Rance Holman playing pretty well, 15 of 21. He was sacked 2 times. They got to give him more time. But when he gets outside and he doesn't have anything, he's going to have to get rid of the ball. That hurt him a couple of times. Mm-hmm. But this really is a game of 2 plays. I mean, there's the long 48-yard touchdown pass for McKinney Boyd, and then the 94-yard fumble return. Just a backbreaker in a way. Now, late in the game, it would be a backbreaker, as we said when it happened. Plenty of time for Jesuit to regroup. They got in a little bit better groove late in the first half. I think they've got to stick to their game plan, but they've got to play smart football. You know, with 24 minutes left, only so much room for mistakes.
Jesuit and McKinney Boyd both back out onto the field now. Jesuit does have the football to start the second half. They won the toss and deferred at the outset of this football game, so the Rangers will have the first licks at this one in the second half and an opportunity to peel their way back into this football game. A touchdown and a 2-point conversion would certainly tie the game if they're able to make that happen, but their biggest issue has been finishing drives. 3 times, Brad, we saw them get down inside the red zone, and all 3 times they failed to score a touchdown. 2 field goals, and then, as you mentioned, the fumble that led to the 94-yard return for Javon Matthews. They just haven't been able to finish. They've made some nice plays, but haven't been able to finish drives.
And I think they've got to get E.J. Smith more involved. Only had 5 rushing attempts in the first half for 13 yards, had 3 catches for 12 yards. E.J. Smith scored all 28 points that Jesuit scored in this game last year. He's been an offensive weapon over the last couple of weeks. And I don't feel like it's so much McKinney Boyd keeping him out of the game. Now, the offensive line's got to make more room when he has the ball, but they've got to do that when anybody's carrying the ball back there. And then I think they're going to have to find ways to maybe get E.J. Smith down the field a little bit over the middle. They seem to have some opportunities over the middle. They're playing fast. They're getting to the line fast. They're going to have to hit some of those quick routes over the middle. That was really the one thing that worked well for Jesuit in the first half.
It's interesting. Their inability to finish drives in the first half kind of mirrors their inability to finish football games a year ago. Brandon Hickman, their head coach, told us earlier this week that a lot of their key losses in district play, McKinney Boyd last year, a 1-score game. Prosper, a 1-score game, gave a game-winning field goal in the final minute. Plano, they lost a close game. McKinney, they lost a close game. Plano East, they lost a close game. That's 5 of their 8 losses last year, 5 of their 6 losses in district play. And the problem was that they weren't able to finish football games. Tonight, they've struggled finishing drives. That's why they trail 14-6 as we get underway here in the second half. But a good start and an awful lot of running room for Jalen Spicer up the left sideline. Cuts back in across the 50-yard line and ripped down from behind inside the 40. Jalen Spicer giving the Rangers outstanding field position to start the second half.
Just a great job by the blockers in front of him. Gave him a lot of room. He barely gets touched. Not a lot of missed tackles by McKinney Boyd. They just didn't get near him. That means good blocking by the Jesuit special teams. So defense is doing their job. Special teams is doing their job. Now the offense has to punch it in.
So here comes Rance Holman and company. And that really has been the story of the game. The defense has played well for Jesuit. The special teams units have played well for Jesuit. The offense has just not been able to finish the job. We'll see if they can do it from 36 yards away from the end zone here in the opening drive of the second half. And they swing it out to E.J. Smith, and he's got some running room. Smith across the 20 and cut down as he bounces out of bounds at the 15-yard line. E.J. Smith with a burst.
We said they had to get more involved in the second half, and there you go. There's your biggest weapon. Take advantage of him.
Quickly back to the line comes Holman. Deep ball right sideline into double coverage and incomplete. There was a flag thrown on the far sideline. Jeff Wasserman, our crew chief this evening, signaling offsides against McKinney Boyd, so it'll be 1st and 5 now for Jesuit.
E.J. Smith.
Just inside the 10.
Sorry, Mike. E.J. Smith more than doubled his receiving production in the first half with that one reception. They got to continue to get him involved. You know, last week he had a 40-yard touchdown play. He did 38 yards of the work, so they can continue to get it to him out on the wing. They just got to keep going to him.
They motion him out of the backfield. Holman's going to keep it on this one. Spins his way inside the 5, and he's held up there. About the 3.5 is where they'll mark his forward progress having been stopped.
Obviously here, 1st and goal from the 5, it's all about the trenches, but I think the McKinney Boyd secondary's got to keep doing what they've been doing in the first half. Keep everything in front of them. It's worked so far.
Holman again in shotgun. He's got Smith and Taylor flanking him to his either side. He swings it out to Smith on the left side. Smith with the cutback, and a flag flies in at the end of the play there. In the area of holding, it looks like it may be against Christian Alaco. Indeed it is, and once again, Jesuit doing to themselves what they've done pretty much all game, get inside the red zone and then go backward. It will stay 1st down, it will remain 1st and goal, but the football will move outside the 10-yard line. They're going to pull it all the way back to the 14. I mean, if you're Brandon Hickman, you're pulling your hair out a little bit right now, right? It has been the same story for them every time they've gotten inside the red zone. Let's see if they can overcome it this time. Taylor spins off a tackle and right into another. He caught the full brunt of Jimmy Fax. That's the little brother of Jake Fax, the free safety. I say little. He's not little. 6'1", 200 pounds as a sophomore, and all 200 pounds of him right into the face mask of Jake Taylor.
I think all these swing passes, Mike, show you that McKinney Boyd's game plan is to give him the room, not give the big play.
Holman steps up in the pocket. He's going to run for it. Gets to the 5, maybe to the 4.
He has taken a beating on this drive.
Jimmy Fax there once again trying to rip the ball free at the end of the play. Nice job by Holman to squeeze it and make sure that didn't happen. 3rd down and goal now from just a hair inside the 5-yard line. Holman looking to the sideline. Head coach Brandon Hickman calls the plays for Jesuit in conjunction with the offensive coordinator Royce Slechta, who's also the quarterback's coach for the Rangers. Holman in shotgun. Smith motions into the formation. They throw it over the middle. Incomplete. He was trying to find Wyatt Garrett. Well defended in the middle of the field. 2 defenders there.
Another dangerous pass.
Peyton Shaw cutting in front of Garrett there. And once again, Jesuit forced to settle for a field goal. It's a 21-yarder this time. Parker Brown puts it up and through, and once again, Jesuit puts 3 points on the board. 14-9 now the score.
Really close to being blocked there, Mike, but Jesuit gets 3. And, you know, after the big return to open the half, I think they're probably a little disappointed with that, but glad to be putting points on the board. And, you know, this is what we talked about when it was 14-0. They were going to have to chip away from the rest of the game. You knew McKinney Boyd couldn't keep up that pace, but I think this is a really interesting sort of chess match to watch between these two coaches who are veterans in this state, veterans in the area. They've played against each other before. I think McKinney Boyd is doing exactly what they want to do from a game plan standpoint, and you can kind of see Jesuit just trying to claw. It's just one of those nights where you can't really get it going, and I think they're just going to have to claw all night long to have a shot in the end.
They've done a good bit of clawing. As much as they don't want to be settling for field goals, they've turned a 14-0 deficit into now a 14-9 football game. If they can avoid the mistakes that they made in the early goings of this football game, maybe they can continue to chip their way back in with field goals, and maybe they win the football game 15-14. Who knows? This kick, a short one, fielded at the 20. And bringing it out to the 30-yard line is Ty Reedy. And then he's dragged back inside the 20 by the Jesuit coverage team. You mentioned these two coaches, both veteran coaches in the area. Hickman, of course, has been at Jesuit this is his 9th year at Jesuit. Joe McBride in his first year at McKinney Boyd, but spent 5 very successful years at Coppell. And actually, this is not the first time these two coaches have met. Hickman's first year, 2011 at Jesuit, they played against Coppell while McBride was still there. So these coaches familiar with one another, and McBride had some very complimentary things to say about Coach Hickman pregame about being one of the best offensive minds in the entire state. And we're seeing a little bit of that respect tonight because Boyd's defense has definitely come prepared to try and slow down this Jesuit offense.
Yeah, and I think, like we've talked about a few times, just doing a really good job of keeping everything in front of them. You know, when we talked to Coach McBride a couple of days ago, one of the quotes that stood out to me more than any other is he said, "I really need my safeties to be where safeties are supposed to be."
Yeah.
I thought that was pretty interesting. And he, so far they've kept everything in front of them and really respecting the arm of Rance Holman and that experienced, pretty big wide receiver core of Jesuit. They're sticking to their defensive game plan, and it's working.
Jake Fax and Play Wyatt, those two safeties you're referencing, both of them very, very talented, both of them looking at playing football at the next level. Play Wyatt already committed to Rice, Fax being looked at by Air Force, Iowa, New Mexico, and Rice. And he said the reason why he needs them to be in where safeties are supposed to be, he said they're so aggressive. And sometimes that gets them out of, it means that they make a lot of plays, but it also sometimes gets them out of position. This time it's intercepted over the middle and picked off. Cut down at the 30-yard line. Robert Fitzgerald with the interception for Jesuit.
Great anticipation, just stepped right in front of it. Clean catch. Beautiful play.
That's the mistake that McKinney Boyd hasn't made all night long. Carter Whitefield throwing late over the middle. And Robert Fitzgerald steps in front of it, and once again, Jesuit with outstanding field position.
Their time of possession advantage continues to grow. The turnover battle now 1-1. The defense continues to give Jesuit the ball on the McKinney Boyd side of the field.
30 yards from pay dirt and a Jesuit lead. Can they finish a drive with a touchdown? This ball is incomplete, I think. Yeah, they're going to signal incomplete. That was I think it was forward, but only just barely.
It was from the back side of the hash mark to the front side of the hash mark.
Very close to parallel to the line of scrimmage, but Jesuit dodges a bullet there. Now Holman setting up a screen for Taylor. Breaks a tackle, and now he's got running room. Taylor, first down and more. He had to break that one tackle. And once he did, he had a whole bunch of running room. Got through the arms of Jimmy Fax. Now he's got the football once again. Big spin move inside the 10. Spun right away from Javon Matthews.
Critical couple of plays here, Mike. This is kind of where Jesuit has hit reverse all night long.
They've got second down and 3. You figure the entire playbook is open right now. It's E.J. Smith in the backfield with Holman. He gets the handoff and really can't do much more than dance for about a half a yard. Javon Matthews and Matteo Bianchi both coming off the edge, the two outside linebackers for Boyd, in the backfield immediately. And they left no running room for E.J. Third and 3 from the 10. A little over 4 minutes gone by here in the third quarter. Jesuit and McKinney Boyd here on Thursday Night Lights. Holman looks near side. Taylor is going to have to make a lot of hay here if he's going to pick up the first down. Looks like he's going to be just barely short. So do you kick another field goal here if you're Jesuit? 4th and 1 forthcoming, and they're right back to the line of scrimmage. Quickly, Holman gets the snap, hands off to E.J. Smith. First down, end zone. Touchdown, Jesuit.
A lot of confidence in your senior there, and the offensive line took advantage of the quick pace and just an incredible sort of jump stop move by E.J. Smith.
The cutback left Jimmy Fex in the dust, and E.J. Smith finds pay dirt for the first time today. Jesuit finds the end zone, and they take the lead in doing so. Now a 2-point lead after the extra point, although a flag does fly in here after the play. Penalty decline, and the extra point will count. So 16-14 now the score in favor of Jesuit. Well, I thought. Scoreboard still reads 15-14. Penalties decline. Extra point is good. They just haven't put the 16th point on the board. There we go. Now it's up there. 16-14 the score. E.J. Smith with the first touchdown of the day for Jesuit. And finally they capitalize on one of their big plays.
And Mike, I have to think the time of possession is starting to become a factor in wearing down that defensive front for McKinney Boyd. They're younger and a little smaller by normal size than that front five for Jesuit. And we talked late in the first half about that being a factor, and they're starting to get a little bit more push up front. Jesuit, that is.
So E.J. Smith finally breaks loose a little bit here in the early goings of the third quarter. He made a couple of big plays on the initial drive that led to the field goal for Jesuit, and then the touchdown run here from 8 yards out on 4th down and about a yard. Jesuit goes for it, and the bold decision leads to a touchdown. And they have the lead for the first time today.
The anchor of that Jesuit offensive line, Branson Hickman, coach's son, headed to SMU. You know, his dad, the head coach, went to TCU. I wonder how he felt about that game last weekend. I guess the son,
in-family rivalry there.
Son got the better end of that one.
Flag comes in late in the play on the kickoff return there from Boyd. That was Ty Reedy bringing it out just across the 20-yard line. Going to be a face mask against Jesuit, the signal from our official Jeff Wasserman this evening. So a free 15 for Boyd and much better field position after that. Jeff Wasserman, Chuck LaCroix, Bruce Tiff, Mac Tiggs, and Ross Smith are officials this evening. Wasserman, the crew chief. That'll bring Boyd out to the 35-yard line. And Carter Whitefield and company for the first time today facing a deficit.
Jesuit a chance to go to 2-0 in district play tonight. Coach Hickman is 44 of 57 in district games in his tenure at Jesuit. They've won a lot more district games than they've lost.
Whitefield swings it out to Jack Hagan. Pickup of about 4 on the first play of the drive. You just heard the McKinney Boyd band, and the student section is down below us to our right. It's a too severe an angle for our camera to be able to get a shot of, but you saw them as part of our broadcast open tonight. Their student section brings it, and you can hear it coming through the broadcast right now as their offense faces 2nd down and 6 from their own 40. Whitefield, 2 backs in the backfield with him. Wyatt, the safety, in there still at running back and getting close to a first down. Looks like he's going to have first down yardage.
They should get it on 2nd down while they can, Mike. Still 0 for 4 on 3rd down conversions tonight. But you can pick up a first down on any down you want.
Yes, indeed you can, and they do it there on 2nd down. The touchdown pass early on in the football game, again, just 48 seconds in, Whitefield hit Kareem Coleman for a 48-yard touchdown pass. That is the only real sustained offense we've seen from Boyd all night. They're approaching midfield, though, now here. Whitefield flushed and taken down in the backfield. Jesuit with great pursuit. Tommy Roy leading the charge, and it's a big loss on the sack. Tommy Roy and Ford Buckner combining on the sack, and it's going to be 2nd down and 18.
First sack of the night for that experienced defensive front for Jesuit.
Whitefield again looking to the sideline for a signal. Good luck to any offensive coordinator in 2nd down and 18. What do you pull out at this point? They changed the play here. Whitefield barking out signals to the offensive line, now back into shotgun. Hands off to Jimmy Fex, and he spins away from the first tackle, able to get back across the line of scrimmage at least. Picks up about a yard. Give him 2, it's 3rd and 16.
Jesuit D now trying to make it 0 for 5 for McKinney Boyd on 3rd downs tonight.
Whitefield with 2 wide receivers to the near side. Cole Green and Kareem Coleman, the ones on the near side. And he's looking that way to start with, and he's going to go deep down the near side for Coleman. And he outshot him by about 1.5 yards. He had a step on his man. Coleman was able to get behind Jalen Spicer, but the ball a little too strong, and Boyd will have to punt it once again. This will be the 4th punt of the evening for Boyd punter Connor Daly. He's punted it very well tonight, an average of 46.3 yards per punt. Can't ask for anything more than that from a collegiate kicker, let alone a high school kicker. Back to receive is Alaco for Jesuit. Steps forward and calls for a fair catch, and he bobbled it. Jesuit able to get back on top of it, only just barely. Sliding through to save the day is the same man who had the interception earlier in the football game, Robert Fitzgerald. So Jesuit will maintain possession despite the muffed punt by Alaco.
Just not great fundamentals on that, Mike. You gotta backpedal a little bit, give yourself a forward view of that ball. He tried to make a really tough catch and didn't have to.
I think he may have misjudged it too, because he stepped forward initially and then had to backtrack. I think he thought it was going to be a shorter punt than it ended up being.
I think you're right.
Replay here if they want to take it, and they do go deep down the left sideline for E.J. Smith. He can't quite haul it in. Boyd jumped off sides, and Rance Holman saw the opportunity. Threw it up top for E.J. Smith, and he very nearly went up over top of the defensive back Jalen Shaw to make the catch. Free 5 yards, though, will make it 1st and 5 for Jesuit, so no harm for the Rangers on that attempt.
Really didn't try to go down the field a lot in the first half, but that's also one of the first times we've seen single coverage out there. It'll be interesting to see if they try that more often in the second half.
Handoff up the middle to Taylor, and nowhere to go. Ball came out for a moment there, it appeared, and Boyd's trying to signal that it's Broncos football. Our lead official, Jeff Wasserman, signaling 2nd down. They must have blown the whistle long before. A little bit hard to hear with the McKinney Boyd, the Boyd Bronco band down to our right, and the student section's making an awful lot of noise. I wasn't able to hear exactly when the whistle was blown there, but clearly before any fumble occurred, and it's 2nd down and 4 for Jesuit. Holman over the middle for Smith, and he's got a little bit of running room. Stiff arm across the 25, and a 1st down for the Rangers. E.J. Smith, all of 6 foot, 199 pounds. Deciding between 5 different schools, really, at this point. His top 5, 3 SEC schools, Florida, Georgia, and Texas A&M, and then Ohio State and Stanford. 5 of the biggest programs in the entire country and great schools to boot. E.J. Smith's got a pretty good decision to make.
I have to imagine Florida might have a little bit of an inside track there.
You would think so. As look at Jake Taylor carry the pile. And a flag comes in after the play, too, and Jesuit celebrating that on their sideline. Nice fight from Jake Taylor all play long, kept the leg drive going. He's picked up and dragged. Is that Hickman that's just kind of dragging him downfield? It's big number 62.
You know, I didn't catch
that. That is Ryan Langell kind of dragging him downfield, but then a flag after the play. I guess it was a late hit. I didn't see. I was looking for who 62 was, and I missed the signal from the official. But
I was watching the replay too, Mike, and I think one of the McKinney Boyd players there kind of lost his balance, stumbled out of the pile, and a ref thought he got pushed. I'm not so sure that happened, though.
Now on 1st and 10 across midfield. A nice spin move by Taylor on the halfback draw, and he's got another first down. Jesuit's offense all night long has been able to roll downfield without too much issue. Finishing drives was the issue in the first half, but now here they are once again, finally with a lead, 16-14, as we're late in the third quarter at this point, and again, their offense is picking up steam. Timeout called by Boyd. That's their second timeout already in this half. A little bit early yet to be concerned necessarily about needing timeouts, but when you are trailing in the football game, it's worth keeping in the back of your mind. But already, Joe McBride and the Broncos have used 2 of their 3 second-half timeouts.
Maybe not a bad time, Mike, to mention what a hospitable crew we've run into here at McKinney Boyd tonight. Everybody's so nice, taking good care of us. Great fans, smart fans. They seem to understand the game, and a good crowd here on the home side for homecoming.
It's been, I mean, same can be said last week. We were here for McKinney North and Rockwall Heath, and it was fantastic hospitality both times that we've been here. Handoff to E.J. Smith up the middle on 1st and 10.
Great cut. Really got more out of that run after the cut than before. Nice patience finding the hole.
You know, I'm intrigued by this, Brad. We've got kind of competing stats. We've got a stat board from that's being run by the folks at Jesuit, and then we've got a stat board here in-house for McKinney Boyd. The McKinney Boyd stat line reads that the Broncos have negative 42 rushing yards. I don't think that that's correct. I don't think they've had a tremendous amount of success on the ground, but I don't think they've had that little success. The stat line that I'm looking at here from Jesuit lists 47 rushing yards for McKinney Boyd. That would make more sense in terms of the game that we've seen so far today. I'm thinking that negative 42 yards has got to be some sort of glitch.
Yeah, and only 1 sack. Obviously, that number counts against the rushing yard total. But, Mike, somebody's listening to you. They're fixing it over there as we speak. If only,
sure enough.
If only at home you could see the scoreboard change.
That's Javon Matthews, slow to get up and making his way off the field. He is walking off under his own power. He's the young man who had the fumble recovery return for a touchdown there in the first quarter to give Boyd that 14-0 lead early on in the game.
I think you got to give it to both teams here, Mike. It's just really impressive battle. McKinney Boyd kind of doing what they want to do, sticking to their game plan. Jesuit clawing their way back in. But kudos to McKinney Boyd for even being in this game. If you look at the stat lines, and we'll get into those a little more after this play, it's more lopsided than the scoreboard.
E.J. Smith trying to dance through the hole, taken down. Nice tackle.
19 first downs for Jesuit, 3 for McKinney Boyd. And the time of possession discrepancy still more than 2-1 for Jesuit. They've had the ball almost 23 minutes out of the 34 minutes we've played.
Smith takes it on 3rd and 1. He's got a lot of running room. Dances through a tackle, and he's to the pylon. Touchdown, E.J. Smith, his second of the day.
What a great effort, Mike. Little reminiscent of his dad there, was it not? The little kick step out of the missed tackle here. Look at that.
He belongs wearing that number 22, doesn't he?
He does. It's fun to watch and good to see him getting into a rhythm in the second half, because it just didn't seem to be himself in the first half.
He has certainly busted out in the second half, though. A 27-yard touchdown run. And with the extra point here, although yet again a flag on the extra point, it's up and through as long as the flag is against the defense, as it was moments ago.
I believe they jumped.
It appears to be more of the same. 23-14 will eventually be our score here after they sort all this out. But yeah, E.J. Smith has turned it on in the second half. Now 11 carries for 52 yards and 2 touchdowns. 5 receptions for 43 yards, so he's creeping up on 100 yards combined from scrimmage. And the only 2 touchdowns of the day for this Jesuit Rangers football team. Once again, penalty is declined, extra point is good, and it's 23-14. Jesuit now with a 2-score lead with just a little over 14 minutes left in this football game.
You know, we talked about Jesuits head coach Brandon Hickman, former all-conference tackle at TCU, but McKinney Boyd's new head coach in his first year. Joe McBride, former defensive end at Texas Tech. As we've talked about, he's had a lot of success in high school football. And I think we have to mention, you know, those two offside penalties on the last 2 extra points aside, McKinney Boyd's played a pretty disciplined game tonight. And one of the things he talked to us a lot about before this game as the week unfolded is how he was really proud of the character of his kids and the way they were being disciplined and the way they were buying into his system. And they've played a good game tonight. I think you can see he's gonna build success here just like he has previously at Coppell.
He certainly had a very nice run at Coppell, as this is a very nice kickoff from Parker Brown into the end zone, so a touchback, and they'll bring it out to the 25 for McKinney Boyd. But yeah, no, he certainly had a very nice run at Coppell, several playoff runs, some deep playoff runs. He had a lot of success there over the course of 5 years, and now taking over here at McKinney Boyd. He said he kind of had the itch to get back into coaching, and here he is taking over this Broncos program. And he said everything is new for this team. Everything that they're doing offensively and defensively, especially defensively, that he really kind of stressed. Everything is new for these kids. Practices, there's a different tempo to practice. He said that he's been impressed with the way that they've handled everything being new, as being tripped up in the backfield is Whitefield. It's going to be a loss of 5, kind of a self-inflicted sack. And it'll be 2nd down and 15. But yeah, he talked a lot about how his team has had to kind of adapt to a whole new philosophy and mentality and everything with his staff coming in here and taking over the program. So it's not necessarily just snap your fingers and it happens. It'll be a building process, but you can certainly see already the fingerprints of Joe McBride on this McKinney Boyd program. 2nd and 15, and they'll hand it off to Fex. Spins around a couple of times in the backfield and then breaks free across the 25 and close to the 30. He had to fight for those 9 or 10 yards.
What a
spinning away
move.
from many tackles.
What a spin move. Made something out of nothing there. Now 6th try on 3rd down tonight. Haven't converted one yet. Got it to a manageable distance here, though.
10 yards from Fex on that run. Gets it to 3rd and manageable. They have to get out to the 40-yard line. Whitefield pump fakes and pressure in his face, and he's taken down. Once again, it's Tommy Roy. Beg your pardon, it wasn't Tommy Roy. It was Peter Melly coming off the left edge. The defensive end, Peter Melly, the 6'2", 235-pound junior, right in the face of Carter Whitefield. And for the second play on this drive, Whitefield is sacked. And again, Boyd will have to punt.
And as we suspected late in the first half, Mike, I think it's just a battle of wills up front, and the experience and the size, I think, starting to win out on the Jesuit side of the ball. No sacks through 2.5 quarters in the game, and now 3 on each of the last 3 drives. One on each of the last 3 drives.
Yeah, total, three total. I'm with you. I got you. 23-14 the score right now as the fourth quarter is about to begin for McKinney ISD Stadium. The Boyd Broncos jumped out to a 14-0 lead tonight. Since then, 23 unanswered from Jesuit to take this 9-point lead into the final frame on Thursday Night Lights. It will be 4th down and 14 for the Boyd Broncos as they bring their punting unit on once again. 5th punt of the day forthcoming from Connor Daly.
He's fun to watch, Mike. He's one of their outstanding players.
Yeah.
He's averaging 46.5 yards tonight on 4 punts.
Yeah, every single one of his punts has been fantastic. I mean, hang time is great. Obviously getting plenty of leg on the football. He's flipped field position multiple times tonight.
Just a junior. I think if he wants to do it, he's going to have a chance to do the same thing at the next level.
And he uncorks another beauty. Just an absolutely sensational punt. This kid, as Joe McBride said to us earlier today when we were talking with him about Connor Daly, he said, I hope he doesn't have to punt at all. And of course, you don't want to be punting the football at any point all night long. But if you're gonna, you want Connor Daly back there punting for you. This kid has uncorked 5 beauties tonight.
I do have some bad news, Mike. His average dropped 0.9 of a yard there.
Well, then we need to take everything we just said back. Connor Daly with a very, very nice night. Flipping field position multiple times. Jesuit takes over at their own 38. Handoff to E.J. Smith, and now he's got running room again. E.J. Smith's got the corner. Smith across the 30, across the 20, foot race to the pylon, touchdown Jesuit.
No flags, and that is just that's speed, and that's why he has 5 offers in the Power 5 next year. Fun to watch, and just beat everybody around the corner. And it's not like they really took a bad angle. They just weren't fast enough to get to him.
Speed, speed, speed. E.J. Smith to the house, and Jesuit has opened this one up now. Extra point will make it 30-14, a 63-yard touchdown run from E.J. Smith, his 3rd score of the second half. And it is now a 16-point advantage for Jesuit.
Joe McBride told us in our conversation with him this week that his team was a lot faster than it was a year ago, and that's, I think, the first time we've seen that tonight on full display. But that shows you what they're capable of, and why I think they did stay with getting E.J. Smith a lot more touches, but a little surprised he didn't touch it more in the first half, and I think you're seeing what this offense is capable of when they put the ball in his hands.
His stat line now has flipped entirely. 12 carries, 115 yards, and 3 touchdowns on the ground. 5 receptions for 43 yards. He has been the offense in the second half. A touchdown run from 8 yards out, a touchdown run from 27 yards out, a touchdown run from 63 yards out, and that has turned a 14-9 deficit early on in the second half into a 30-14 Jesuit lead just 19 seconds into the fourth quarter. Jesuit to kick it away. Tyree from his own 5. Bottled up short of the 20. And that's where Carter Whitefield and company will get back to work. Now trailing by 16. Still a 2-score game technically, but they've got a lot of work to be done in the final 11:33.
Probably now going to have to turn to Carter Whitefield a little more and take some chances downfield.
He's only thrown the ball 8 times tonight. 3 completions on 8 attempts. What is really kind of shocking is how few plays McKinney Boyd has run in general. As this first play of the drive is, again, a little bit of confusion in the backfield, and Whitefield just has to tuck and run and picks up about 2. 8 passing plays.
And again, you know, Mike, we haven't talked about it in a while, but Play Wyatt not playing his normal position, and we've seen confusion in the backfield more than once, but hard to blame him. They expect to have him out on the perimeter, and injuries forced him into that spot.
Just to give you an idea of how lopsided this game has been between the 20s, Jesuit has 21 first downs. McKinney Boyd just ran their 27th offensive play. Boyd made a couple of big plays early on in the football game to jump out to that 14-0 lead, but in terms of the way that this game has been played, the score now is much more reflective of the stats that we're looking at here in the booth. 3rd down and 5 forthcoming for Boyd.
0 for 6 on 3rd down tonight, Mike, but obviously they got to have this one to have any chance to get back in this game.
Whitefield, given some time, throws near side and is too tall over the outstretched fingertips of Jack Hagan. And it will be 4th down once again. Now 0 for 7 on 3rd down to the Boyd Broncos. Whitefield kind of ginger making his way off, holding his right hand at his chest. Now doubled over. You can see him there for a moment at the bottom of your screen. Fourth and 5. Connor Daly back out there to punt once again. Punt number 6 for him of the day. Yet another good one. Alaco running forward to field it and hit immediately. Great coverage. McKinney Boyd's coverage team, Ryan McCrory, down there right in his face upon the ball being caught by Alaco. No return. Jesuit will start the possession at their own 43. E.J. Smith has been the story of this second half. 3 touchdown runs, 8, 27, and 63 yards to open up this 30-14 lead for the Rangers. And you imagine he may see the ball a little bit more, Brad, over the course of the final 9:59 tonight.
Those 3 touchdowns have just come in a hurry, and we might be seeing number 4.
It may be number 4 right here. He's just barely dragged down from behind. Play Wyatt. Playing double duty tonight, Wyatt is, having to play running back and safety. Got sucked inside by the initial move by Jesuit. And now down still on the field is E.J. Smith. He was dragged down from behind by Wyatt. And he is, quite frankly, writhing in pain at the 32-yard line. He's back up on his feet now. He's not putting any pressure on his, well, he wasn't for a moment putting any pressure on his right foot. Now he seems to be walking with only a slight limp. He's been battling a high ankle sprain all season long. He missed the first 2 games of the season as a result. As you've seen tonight, he is the lion's share of this Jesuit offense. So for him to be hurt is a big, big problem for this football team. But obviously you're concerned first and foremost for the young man himself. He's able to walk his way off the field. He's going to go take a seat on the bench down on the far side about the 45-yard line. And he's replaced by Jake Taylor, who takes the handoff here on 1st and 10. But E.J. Smith, after a remarkable second half.
Mike, we wrote down a lot of quotes from our great conversation with both head coaches this week, and one that's probably overdue, and I think we saw that in the first half and the second half, and I sure hope E.J. Smith is okay, having a great night. He's had a great career. He's got a really bright future. But maybe one of the more meaningful quotes from Coach Brandon Hickman that we haven't mentioned yet is he said, when E.J. Smith is playing well, we're humming.
Yeah.
And I think you've seen that tonight, because he was kind of quiet in the first half, has just unleashed in the second half, and it's been a tale of two halves for sure, and he has played really, really well in the second half. Those 3 touchdowns have come out of nowhere.
Yeah, the offense has absolutely been humming with E.J. Smith running as well as he has here in the second half. It appears that we have another injury at the moment. I'm trying to spot exactly. It's a player from Boyd, but he's so surrounded by the training staff, I can't get a feel for exactly who this young man is. Rick Martin and Todd Holmes, the trainers for Jesuit, Gary Hutto and Jacqueline Emery for the Boyd Broncos, and they're surrounding him at about the 31-yard line. I'm not sure who this is, though.
I can't tell who's down.
They've got him back up on his feet now. Okay, that's 31, who's Ethan Wisloski, a sophomore. He's able to walk off under his own power, but he was certainly down for quite a while there. Hard to tell exactly what happened there, but he seems okay as he makes his way off the field. And it will be 2nd down and 6 for Jesuit. E.J. Smith still sitting on the bench on the far side. His night may well be done, especially if Jesuit continues to move the football like this, already up 16, and Jake Taylor carries for a first down.
And I think we're going to see a lot more of what we just saw, Mike. Really getting to the point now that I think they've been able to wear down that defensive front a little bit, and obviously if you're on the Jesuit sideline, you want to see the clock tick, tick, tick.
Just a little over 9 minutes to play as it stands right now. And Jesuit's going to probably let it bleed all the way down to the end of the play clock here before they snap on 1st and 10 just outside the red zone. 30 unanswered points from the Jesuit Rangers after an early 14-0 deficit. And sure enough, with 1 second on the play clock, Holman takes the snap. Play action comes near side. Complete in the hands of Charlie Cook, his first reception of the night. Picks up 2.
Thank you, Julie Taylor Wright, for tuning in on Facebook. She says, "Go Broncos." Lakeisha Wilson says, "Yes, my baby, go Jalen Spicer."
Very nice. I assume is that Jalen Spicer's mother, perhaps?
Somebody who's a big fan. That's
for sure. 2nd down and 8 now, and looked like some movement there. No flag. Jake Taylor carries for about 3. As Jesuit continues to work time off the clock, now under 8 minutes to play. Boyd isn't out of this football game. They do have a timeout left. They're down 2 scores. They absolutely need to stop here. You could argue they maybe need a turnover here. Even a field goal might put this out of reach, but if they're able to make a stop, 2 scores in 7 minutes or so is not out of the realm of possibility, but the way that their offense has struggled this evening, it's hard to see how that would somehow materialize, but they need to get a stop first. Here on 3rd down and 5, they do exactly that, as Taylor's only able to pick up about 1.5 yards. 4th down and 3 forthcoming. The clock will tick under 7 minutes to play by the time of the next snap, and it appears that Holman and company are going to stay out there. Well,
interesting.
I think I need to wait for a half a second before I say well, they're going to go for it here, because as soon as I started to say it, on comes the field goal unit.
Our Tony Romo impersonations are going terribly.
Yeah, we're not doing well with that.
Interesting decision here, because there is a little room for error with the kick. You've got the ball deep in their territory. And not only are you up 2 scores, but you're up 2 scores and 2 two-point conversions. But this would clearly put it away if they can make it.
Parker Brown from 31, and it's through. 33-14, Jesuit with the advantage.
31-yard field goal attempt is good. Rangers
Parker Brown's second field goal of the day. Beg your pardon, third field goal of the day.
43 yards.
He's hit from 19, 21, and 31. And Mitchell Campbell hit from 35, the first 3 points of the day from Jesuit. And a 19-point advantage now for the Rangers with 6:35 to play. Boyd with just 1 timeout left. That may be the icing on the cake tonight.
We have Jennifer tuning in on Facebook Live from Connecticut. She says, "Go Jesuit," and Jake Aldinger. Thank you,
Wonderful.
Jennifer, tuning in. Mark Mortimer and the St. Rita Dads Club watching, and he says they're enjoying their favorite beverage from the annual St. Rita Golf Tournament, whatever that means.
Very nice. Now, Lakeisha Wilson said, yes, indeed, she is Jalen's mother.
All right.
Nice to have her tuning in tonight.
And quite a few people watching on the WFAA YouTube channel as well. Thank you for doing that. Mike, are they going to have us on Daybreak tomorrow morning to recap this whole thing?
Why not? Yeah, we can wake up early, right? Do a 4:30 hit and then go home and get some sleep.
Or we could do that thing Dale Hansen does, just tape it and make it look like we're there.
Kickoff from Brown is through the end zone. Another very nice kickoff from Parker Brown.
Kickoff touchback on the play. 1st and 10 Broncos at the Boyd 25-yard line.
We do appreciate you guys tuning in tonight and sharing the feed with all of your friends and family on Facebook and YouTube and WFAA.com, wherever you may be hopping on and enjoying the game. You've seen quite the comeback from Jesuit tonight. They trailed 14-0 just 5 minutes and 6 seconds into this football game. Carter Whitefield hit Kareem Coleman over the middle for a 48-yard touchdown hookup just 48 seconds into the football game. Jesuit drove the length of the field, got inside the 2-yard line, as this handoff has nowhere to go. Taken down in the backfield is Jay Thompson. That's the sophomore backup running back, who we haven't seen a whole lot of tonight despite the injury to Tyler Shaw. But yeah, Jesuit, after falling behind 7-0, drives all the way inside the 5 down to the 2-yard line, and on the very next play, a handoff from Rance Holman to E.J. Smith went awry. Javon Matthews jumped on top of it, ran it back 94 yards for a touchdown, and Boyd was out to a 14-0 edge. As again, nowhere to run for Jay Thompson on 2nd down. Maybe back to the original line of scrimmage, maybe a yard beyond that. We'll call it 3rd and 9. But since that point, Jesuit has turned it on. 3 straight field goals sandwiched around halftime to make it 14-9, and then 3 straight E.J. Smith touchdown runs in the 3rd quarter and early in the 4th quarter. And then a field goal to follow that as well to make it 33-14, 33 unanswered points from the Jesuit Rangers to crawl out of that 14-0 hole and really put this football game away.
Might be their last chance tonight here to get a 3rd down conversion.
3rd and 9, and Whitefield goes over the middle and hit right as the ball arrived was Kareem Coleman. Zach Pendola coming through with the hit.
Great defense, timed it perfectly. Arrived at the same time as the ball.
5:14 to play in the 4th, and it appears that once again we're going to see Connor Daly. In some ways, I feel like this is waving the white flag. I mean, you're down 3 scores with 5:14 to play, and you have 1 timeout. Do you really even have the luxury to punt the football away right now? I understand you're at your own 26-yard line, but you're out of time at this point. The punt from Daly is...
But it is fun to watch him kick the ball.
It really is. He's going to get a lot of roll here down inside the 30-yard line at the 29.
That average back up over 46.
He has punted the ball very well this evening. That was his 7th punt of the night, averaging 43.7 yards per punt. That one goes for 45.
Sorry, Mike. Joe McBride, the head coach of McKinney Boyd, he told us they really want to be an explosive vertical team. And he really thinks that Carter Whitefield has Division I kind of potential down the road, but just a sophomore. And clearly they're, a year or two away, I think, from having that vertical explosiveness that he wants to have.
Kyle Heckel with the carry there on the first play of the Jesuit drive. And I think you're right. I think he even probably realizes that they're, in his first year with the program, looking at the talent they have in the football field right now, I think he feels like they're, still building to where they want to be. But you see little bits and pieces that are coming together for them. They didn't obviously all work for them this evening, but there's certainly reason for promise, I think, within this Boyd program as they continue along with Joe McBride at the helm. Meanwhile, Jesuit about to move to 2-0 in district play. Handoff once again to Heckel, and he runs into a wall. Third down and about 6 forthcoming. Look at Jesuit's schedule going forward. They've got a test against Prosper and a big test against Allen back-to-back weeks. They've got next week off. Both of these teams about to hit their bye week. And that was one thing that Joe McBride said to me before the game is he's kind of looking forward to this bye week. He said his team he's got 5 or 6 players that are pretty dinged up, and they need this break that is forthcoming. And it probably is only needed more seeing Tyler Shaw go down tonight. That's an element that maybe we haven't talked enough about this evening. Tyler Shaw, the starting running back for McKinney Boyd. We talk about the struggles that they've had moving the football. Not having Tyler Shaw is certainly a factor in all of that. So McKinney Boyd very happy to see the bye week coming in 3 minutes and 14 seconds. Jesuit comes up short there on 3rd and 6, so they'll punt the football away.
Yeah, and that was a compounding problem for them tonight because not only do you not have Shaw in the backfield, you pull one of your best playmakers from out on the edge to run that tailback position and had some confusion in the backfield. You lose a threat on the outside. A definite factor in the game in a couple of ways. I tell you, Mike, we talked about at the beginning of the game, this means a lot for the second district game for these two teams. Jesuit now, as you mentioned, 2-0. Missed the playoffs last year for the first time in Coach Brandon Hickman's tenure, I believe.
Yes. Yep.
And you can't have a better start than 2-0 in the district. So they're going to be really happy with that. They get the bye week to improve in the areas they need to improve. And one interesting note, this is their first trip here to this new $70 million stadium. Beautiful facility, by the way.
It really is.
In McKinney. And they'll be back here on November 1st to play McKinney. And you have to think they're going to, be a tough road to be undefeated or have a clean slate that deep into the season.
Whitefield over the middle, and it's picked off once again, and yet again it's Robert Fitzgerald. Fitzgerald may find pay dirt. Fitzgerald with the cutback, trying to get to the corner. He's taken down from behind inside the 5-yard line. Good hustle by Josiah Barron to chase him down and keep him out of the end zone. But for the second time tonight, Robert Fitzgerald with an interception over the middle. And he wanted the end zone big time.
He looked like the receiver on both of those picks tonight.
He really did.
But they'll be back here on November 1st, and you have to imagine that game may be just as meaningful as this one. They're probably going to have a couple of blemishes along the way.
Well, when you look at the games coming out of the bye week are Prosper and Allen, that's no easy task. First and goal, the handoff goes in the backfield, and breaking through the initial tackle and finding the end zone is Sam Morales. Touchdown, Jesuit. And they add to the lead.
Second effort award right there. He's down, fights his way back through, not actually down. Great effort, great second effort.
After the extra point is tacked on here by Parker Brown, it'll be 40 unanswered points from the Jesuit Rangers tonight. Sam Morales with the most recent 6, a 2-yard touchdown run. Brown's extra point is up and through, 40-14. Jesuit completely turning this football game around from the way that it began. And as we've said already, they will move to 2-0. in District 9 6A play. But yeah, to go back to it, out of the bye week, they host Prosper, who's arguably the second best team in this district, and then 1 week later go on the road to face an Allen team that is very obviously the best team in this district and one of the best teams in the country year after year after year. This year, one of the top 5 teams in the state of Texas, considered once again one of the top teams across the entire nation. So not an easy stretch out of the bye week. After that, they play Plano, and as you mentioned, on November 1st, come back here to face McKinney, and then they wrap things up with another test against Plano East in their final game of the regular season. But a 2-0 start sets them up well to go into this difficult stretch because they needed that second win. You got to stockpile them whenever you can. Meanwhile, for Boyd, this loss will drop them to 0-2 in district play. They have Plano West coming out of the bye week on the 11th of October. Prosper after that on the road. Home to Allen on the 25th of October, and then their 2 games in November at Plano. And right here against McKinney, they're considered the home team for that one, but obviously a shared stadium for the 2 programs on the 8th of November.
Simon Bachler, watching on Facebook, says, "Come on, McKinney, let's go." Thanks for sticking with us, Simon. Demia says, "Love watching our Rangers, especially my bonus sons. C number 1, I guess it has to be Christian Alaco, and JoJo number 4, Jonathan Paredes." Now we know his nickname.
Very nice. JoJo.
Another shout out for Jalen Spicer.
JoJo on the night, 2 catches for 17 yards. Whitefield and the offense back out there for probably the final possession of the ball game for the Boyd offense. Jay Thompson with the carry.
We have a viewer here, Mike, from says they're watching from Notre Dame. Apparently they were, flipping through the Facebook Live channels, and the gold helmets caught their attention.
290 rushing yards tonight for Jesuit. I'm just looking through these stats and trying to kind of wrap my brain around what we've seen over the course of the last 3 hours and how this game got completely flipped on its ear here in the second half. This was a 14-6 halftime lead for Boyd. Since then, Jesuit has scored 34 points. And Boyd hasn't sniffed the end zone.
Yeah, I think and both teams have a lot they can take from this. I think the Broncos got some belief in the first half that they can play with anybody. The ball can bounce your way. You make turnovers happen. Man, turnovers can wreak havoc against the best of teams, and we saw that happen to Jesuit in the first half. But I think Jesuit, we talked about how important it was for them to take a deep breath, stick to their game plan. They clawed their way back in. And I think it shows the veteran team that they are. They've got some character. They were clawing the first half.
Yeah.
I mean, it seemed like they might have to claw their way all the way to the end of the game. So I think they take a lot away from it. Obviously, you take a lot away from a 40-14 win or something in that ballpark here with just over a minute to go. But I think both teams are going to take some valuable lessons out of this.
I mean, it was in this half of play that we were joking, well, look at that leap over the defender and still going. Josiah Barron with a couple of nice moves in there. This may be their deepest penetration into Jesuit territory in the second half. Right up over top of them.
Jeez.
Josiah Barron with a very nice play.
Took a pretty good hit on the other end of the leap and then still kept going.
1st and 10 for the Boyd offense. Just a hair over a minute to play in this one. Of course, the result not in doubt, but still slinging it downfield and nearly hit Barron again. Ball was a little bit behind him. He had a chance at it, though.
They almost got vertically explosive.
They're trying in the final minute of the football game. 53 seconds left to play now. Whitefield still slinging it around, sends it on the far side for Jack Hagan, and Hagan breaking some tackles, and he's close to a first down. And it is indeed a first down for Boyd. Barron once again, this time not as much running room, and taken down inside the 20 as we tick under 30 seconds to play here. 417 yards of total offense tonight for the Jesuit Rangers. Whitefield keeps it here. 13 seconds to play as he spins his way inside the 10. And they'll use their final timeout and give him an opportunity to perhaps punch one in the end zone here in the final 10 seconds. And honestly, you know what? With a sophomore quarterback, with a young football team, in the first year of Joe McBride's tenure here, why not take advantage of this time and try and, these are valuable repetitions for these kids to try and figure out, get a better grasp of the offense, figure out how to execute in a late game situation. Obviously, the pressure is different, but take advantage of every opportunity you got. No point in kneeling on the football and going into the locker room with a 40-14 loss. Why not try and make something of these final couple minutes?
Yeah, and you asked an appropriate question with the punt at 5 minutes to go, where they kind of waving the white flag. But I like seeing the competitive spirit here. And again, when you think about takeaways from this game, this is a good drive to end on. It's like hitting that last good shot at the golf course. It'll bring you back.
Come back tomorrow. Whitefield will be in shotgun here on 1st and goal. 10 seconds on the clock. If they're throwing the football, you can maybe get 2 plays in. Play action fake. Flushed out of the pocket. Gonna have to get rid of it. Throws it into the end zone. Did he catch it? Yes, he did. Touchdown. And it's Josiah Barron fittingly finishing off this drive. He had the beautiful leap over the defender a couple moments ago, and now here in the end zone, the diving catch right at the pylon. Touchdown, McKinney Boyd, and a good finish to the football game for the Broncos as time expires.
Off balance, put it in the one spot where the one guy could get to it. Great hustle, great effort, great catch.
Whitefield to Josiah Barron for the touchdown, and they will kick the extra point just for good measure. It is up and through off the foot of Austin Woodruff, and a fitting way for the football game to come to an end. 40-21 the final score. The Jesuit Rangers move to 2-0 in district play, 3-2 overall. McKinney Boyd falls to 1-4 on the season, 0-2 in District 9 6A play as both these teams go into the bye week now. 417 yards of total offense for Jesuit, 180 for McKinney Boyd, 23 first downs for Jesuit, 8 for McKinney Boyd. Of those 417 total yards for Jesuit, 290 of them coming on the ground. 45 total carries for 290 yards, 6.4 yards per carry. E.J. Smith with 140, Jake Taylor with 80, Rance Holman with 57, Kyle Heckel with 11, and Sam Morales with the 2-yard touchdown run. That was the full summation of his day. All of that, 290 yards on the ground.
Yeah, and Mike, I think about 240 of those yards in the second half. Sure hope E.J. Smith is okay. He went down and didn't come back into the game, but what an incredible quarter and a half he had in the second half. 3 touchdowns. We said, at halftime, one of the keys in the second half was going to be more touches with him, sticking with him until it worked. And then I think in the trenches, ultimately, Jesuits, just bigger, more experienced front on both sides of the ball really was able to win out at the end of the day.
I'm seeing on the far side at about midfield, E.J. Smith is walking his way across the field and shaking hands with the McKinney Boyd players as he makes his way across the field. So the fact that he's up and walking under his own power is certainly a good sign. But again, a kid that has battled a high ankle sprain already earlier on this season and hobbled off there early on in the fourth quarter after he had run for 3 touchdowns. He still has a noticeable limp as he goes and joins his teammates as they celebrate a 40-21 win over the Boyd Broncos to move to 2-0 this season. Some other key stats here for you. Rance Holman, 19-27 for 116 yards. E.J. Smith, the leading receiver today, 5 for 43. Jake Taylor had 6 receptions, but for 28 yards. Paredes and Alaco both with a pair of catches. So was Kyle Heckel. Wyatt Garrett with 3 receptions for 11 yards. Charlie Cook with a reception for 2 yards. For McKinney Boyd, Whitefield 9 for 18, 109 yards, 2 touchdowns, but the 2 interceptions. Jake Fex, 5 carries, 27 yards. To Tyler Shaw, 4 carries for 23 yards before he went out with the injury. 4 carries for Clay Wyatt for 14 yards. It was just a struggle for Boyd to move the football tonight. And when it's all said and done, a 40-21 Jesuit win, as you see head coach Brandon Hickman talking to his team right now. A 2-0 start in district play is exactly where they wanted to be, looking at the schedule, the way things laid out, and now they go into the tough part of their, well, not to say that the first 2 games weren't good opponents, but certainly a much tougher part of their schedule with Prosper and Allen, their next 2. You see the Jesuit team kneeling down in prayer, both teams receiving a final word from their head coaches. I think with that, Brad, we'll ask for your final word and I think put a bow on this one as Jesuit moves to 2-0 in district play.
Great effort by both teams. Great atmosphere and hospitality here at McKinney. Just a pleasure to join you tonight, Mike. Great game. I think both teams take things away. I think Jesuit's going to have a strong season, back more to what their old form is like off of the down year last year, and I think you can start to see the signs of the excellence that's going to come out of McKinney when they build this program here.
No doubt. Certainly hope that E.J. Smith gets back healthy, too. He's still a little bit of a limp as he makes his way off the field, but a young man who had a heck of a night tonight. 140 rushing yards and 3 scores, 43 more yards through the air, and he leads Jesuit to a 40-21 win to move to 2-0 in district play. Our thanks to the athletic directors from both school districts, Steve Koch from Dallas Jesuit and Sean Pratt from McKinney ISD, and a shout out to both coaches as well for being very generous with their time and information about their 2 football teams. Without their help and support, a broadcast like this is just simply not possible. We also want to thank our sponsors this evening, Texas Health Resources. Our engineers tonight are Don Hazen and Dode Bigley. Our digital coordinator back in Dallas is Nick Blackhall. Our executive producer is Sean Hamilton. For Brad Ramsey with me here in the booth, I'm Mike Leslie. Thanks so much for watching tonight. Your final score one last time, 40-21. The Jesuit Rangers with a win to move to 2-0 in district play. The Boyd Broncos fall to 0-2 in District 9-6A. We'll see you next week on Thursday Night Lights as we make our second voyage to the Star for Frisco Lone Star and Frisco Wakeland. So long for McKinney, everyone. We'll see you next week.